Welcome, horror fam, to HHN 365, a Halloween Horror Nights podcast. My name is Mike, and as always, I am here with my co-hosts, Jess and Duff. How's it going?
I mean, right now, pretty good, I gotta say.
Pretty good.
Yeah, I'm so excited.
It's here.
It's like Christmas morning.
Literally.
Like Christmas Eve. Like
It's Christmas Eve if you're a team member.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because
yeah.
literally, by the time you're listening to this episode, well, I guess maybe if you listen in the morning, not so. But they'll be going that day. Team member preview
if you were
is
executive,
today,
was
the
yesterday.
day this is dropping.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
As always, you can follow us on social media at Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at HHN365 and TikTok at HHN365pod. We have a merch shop now at HHN365.bigcartel.com, and you can always leave us a voicemail at 407-906-4134. On today's show, we will finally get to reveal our HHN hypeless Duff and Jess. I know you guys kind of over-revealed them on Catacombs, but they may have changed a little bit.
I will say, listen, I said it on the episode. If you listen to the Catacombs episode, I said they will likely change. It changed more than I thought they would. So don't be afraid.
Oh.
Also, on Catacombs, we also didn't fully reveal them. Like, you didn't have us say exactly where we placed them every time. So,
No, you're right.
you know.
Before we get to that, while you're listening to this, it will probably be that day. Tonight, August 31st, we are hosting live trivia at Half Barrel Beer Project at 8 p.m. Please come out and have some fun. I don't know about you guys, but I've always had that fear of throwing a giant party and nobody showing up. So I really hope, don't like cancel your mom's bar mitzvah or whatever, but like come show up.
I will say that one, we have a lot of people who are coming to pick up their merchandise at the very least. Also, by the way, if you have merchandise that you said you would like to pick up locally, but did not notate where, you can come tomorrow, trivia. Today, trivia. Wednesday, August 31st at Half Barrel Beer Project, and we will have it there for you, whether you marked it for trivia pickup or not. So come grab it.
And I'd like to just correct the people who are typing up their Twitter post. I know moms don't have bar mitzvahs. That was a joke. You can stop typing it. You can delete it. You don't have to send it to Duff.
I would like to point out, though, Mike, you said you're worried about people not showing up. And, of course, that's a concern I have as well. Like, no one wants their party to be empty. I know we have, if you go over to Twitter, we have Allie and Nikki, who are literally driving a day early from Tampa to the event to come to our trivia.
Oh,
so,
awesome.
Appreciate you guys for that. Thank you.
Yeah.
And anyone who's coming, of course. They just specifically mentioned that on Twitter, so I'm shouting them out for that.
Yeah. And on the other end of the spectrum, this place is very tiny. So get there early.
Yeah. Capacity is literally less than 50, by like one person, but less than 50. I will say, if you get there and it is slammed, don't immediately turn around. The outdoor patio, like going out to the sidewalk and everything, they are allowed to use. So if you're okay with chilling outside, you can do that. It is possible. And if you win outside, we will still give you your gift card. It's fine.
Yeah. We're going to make sure that even if you don't get in the door, you are part of this event. So, we will make sure if it means one of us running outside and repeating the question to the people sitting outside because you can't hear the AV system, like the PA doesn't reach outside. We will do it. We'll make sure that you're involved. So yeah, if you only get a spot outside, don't worry. We'll make this work.
Absolutely. And then I might as well on the podcast. We usually don't on the podcast, but the address, listen closely, 9650 Universal Boulevard. So it's close to the property. Don't worry about that. Unit 143, Orlando, Florida, 32819. Come visit us. We'll be there. 8 p.m. starting. Be there at 7:30. Get a spot.
Yeah, there's very limited parking out front, but as Nico mentioned on, I believe, the 100th episode, there is a parking garage nearby.
It's right behind it.
Right behind it. So if you can't find initial parking outside, which is very limited, and you probably won't because Jess, Duff, and a few of the other people who are coming to help us will probably take those. So,
Well,
it's
we should probably
limited.
we'll park a little further away just to leave
Okay,
something.
all right. We'll yeah,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
again, they'll be probably full.
Also, garage free. Don't worry about that. It's free. Just pull in.
It's free.
It's for the apartment complex and the retail. Just pull in. You're fine. It's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, there is a lot to talk about, guys, before we get to our hype list. A lot of stuff going on in the parks, a lot of articles and stuff to talk about. Let's hop right into it.
Yeah, so I guess news and rumors is going to be at least 3/4 of this episode. So, yeah. So the two things that kind of always let us know HHN is here. We have the medallion and the house posters out on the arch. They only did the 4 IPs this time, so there aren't like 6.
Mm-hmm.
So it looks
Even numbers.
right. It looks balanced, but also doesn't look balanced at the same time because I'm so used to seeing 6.
Yeah.
So kind of weird. But also the house portals are out. Every single one. So
Oh, wow.
you get a peek at a few of them. You know, if you want to, we know what the logos look like. They've released them, but if you want to see them in person, they're kind of there. If you peek in
They're
a
not
little,
covered. They're like
They're covered,
they're
but
covered. But you know, sometimes they
see
aren't
it.
like fully covered.
you
Some
can
of
see
them,
like,
some of them are very tight. Some of them are not.
yeah, you could see like the weekend's glasses. You could see like the
Bugs.
red and green of bugs. Yeah.
okay. All right. I just
So, yeah.
picture like someone like sneaking in and just like
Oh, people do
like-
that.
Oh, that happens. That absolutely
The
happens.
YouTubers all do that.
I will say, spoiler alert: the spec map is accurate for all locations, but I believe locations like entrance-wise for 2 houses are kind of mixed up front, like what you'd expect.
Oh, so they're changing the cues on
maybe,
it a little
yeah.
bit.
We'll see how that works out. We won't go in depth about that, but we'll see how that works out.
I think that's why people listen to this show. Is deep, in-depth discussion.
We don't
about
know. It's kind of
switchbacks.
confused us, to be fair. We aren't sure. Hellblock Horror is the one to the left of Despicable Me.
Oh, instead of Coven.
Mm-hmm. But we expected Coven to be there. So
Oh.
yeah, that's all. That's the main thing. It's like, so how is this route gonna go? You know, kind of deal.
Yeah.
We need to start a watch on that. Switchback watch.
Ooh.
We'll find out tomorrow or today, actually, if you're listening to this the day we release.
Okay. In 2014, I worked on that team that set all those up. It was terrible.
I can only imagine. I was there yesterday, and the team was out doing like setup for the stanchions, like practicing that, and they looked absolutely miserable.
Yeah, it's
I
hot.
don't blame them.
Yeah, that was right
Very
because
hot.
they were doing it when it was hot for sure. That's rough. So thank you, team members, for doing all you do.
It's a thankless job for sure.
But let's get into more of the construction side of things. Of course, Scarezones have been evolving a bit since last week, even though they're mostly done. There's some nice details we're seeing. If we started when the Horrors of Halloween, they added that beautiful HHN marquee that until last year we hadn't seen since HHN 16. That was up front in 30 years, 30 fears. So that thing's beautiful. I love having it. There's been testing. It's been lit up. It looks great, as always. Oh, no one else is excited about that. Okay, moving on.
I'm excited for the next thing, which is Barn Watch.
Barn watch.
Yeah, so I believe last time we were on an episode, the barn was literally just trusses at that point and the platforms. It is a barn now. I will say it is not fully covered. It does not have a roof. I don't think that's going to pop up in the next night either because the trees are very close. So
Yeah, it's going to be a little.
It does look good regardless, I will say.
Nice.
Yeah, it could also just be that the roof was, I don't know, it fell.
It's collapsed.
It
It's
fell.
Yeah.
an old barn.
It fell.
Yeah.
No more roof on the
Yeah.
barn.
Soil is a bit cursed. You know, it's
You could say.
Look at you. Look at you.
Yeah.
I will say that if you went to HHN 23 and saw the Walking Dead barn that was outside of Central Park, that was a full covered barn that was pitch black. This will not be that. So don't expect quite that, but it still looks good.
Cool. And what's going on in Conjure the Dark?
There's one. Hold on, just one thing I want to mention about Scarecrow.
Yeah.
It smells like a barn. Like it literally smells like old
Really?
rotting wood in there. Because like I have a family who has a barn like in upstate New York, and like when I visit them, that is the exact smell of when I go into one of their barns. Like 100%. I don't know if it's on purpose or just because it's old wood, but like it's to a T. Oh, and also they have a truck in front of the barn and a windmill. Remember that platform that we were like, what's going to go there? It's a windmill.
It's
cool.
massive. It's the one from the house, right?
The one from the house. The one that's outside the house. Yeah,
oh, this is coming together. This is going to be a badass zone. We'll get to it. But this is... Yeah.
But yeah, if we wrap all the way around to Conjure the Dark, they've added boo holes that are the exact same, slightly different in color and some additions of like vines and stuff to what we saw in Gorewood Forest last year. Me and Jess, I know, had pointed out at some point that they look eerily similar. So like, of course they reuse props. That's not a big deal. But because it was last year and because of how similar they look, they're very close. Very close.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a problem. I don't mind that. I think they'll work, but just pointing that out. They've also added a lot of details. You know how they have just like skulls and like signs out on top of their, I don't even know what you call them, wagons or whatever. There's just more stuff there. There's more vines. There's more overgrown earth going on.
Yeah.
And then
I'm excited. I'm excited to see what this turns in. We'll get into it. But yeah, I'm excited with this.
We'll see how excited you are soon. For scare zones, otherwise, I don't think there's too much else to update since we talked to you a week ago. Like very slight changes to the other two, but nothing insane at all. They've moved around the platforms in Horrors of Halloween that showed the different scare zones, but that's about it. They're the same platforms. They just kind of shifted them around a bit.
Yeah, and I think maybe they added like some little like boo holes. That was it in San Fran.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. That was it. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I'll point this out here instead of in our hype list before I forget. It's going to be a literal 20-second spoiler alert, so block your ears if you don't want to hear anything. They did catch audio testing of the opening ceremonies. This fully ties into Horrors of Halloween because it uses his platform, Pumpkin Lord's platform, and he is the host, and he is more clearly the icon than we realized, like we thought he was, but he is the icon of this event. He grew this event per the opening ceremonies. So yeah, I hope you turned off. If you didn't want to hear that, I hope we gave you warning. And if you're back, hey, no more spoilers. So welcome back.
That's exciting.
Yeah, very exciting.
All right. Well, Duff, it sounds like we have some sellout dates already.
We do. So the first one to come was actually not opening night or Saturday like we expected, but Sunday the 4th was the first night to sell out.
That's a random.
Yeah, at first I was shocked, but also Monday's Labor Day, so it kind of makes sense, I guess. Yeah,
that does make sense.
I still don't understand why before Saturday, but whatever, it works.
Probably people avoiding the cost of Saturday and going for the cheaper rate on Sunday.
Yeah, that's true. Is it cheaper? I didn't double check.
I think usually is. Yeah.
But also today, 8:30. The opening night, Friday, September 2nd, has sold out as well. If you have Frequent Fear, if you have Rush Fear, if you already have a ticket of some sort, you are allowed in. However, if you do have Frequent Fear, Rush Fear, you have to get in before it hits capacity. I will be honest, typically, history doesn't necessarily mean anything, but it doesn't actually hit capacity.
Yeah.
But still try to get there early if you can.
Yeah. It's going to be crazy. Just get there early. Pro tip, get there early.
Stay and Scream, opening night and Sunday.
Yeah, for sure.
Also, another fun announcement, especially if you are someone doing the Unmasking the Horror Tour, they have sent out emails regarding what houses you will see. So, pulling off the Band-Aid, the one you will not see, what we fully expected, the Weekend After Hours Nightmare, will not be included on either tour. We fully expect it. It's the bigger IP. It's the one that's probably using more effect heavy, so it won't look great with lights on. Whatever. I understand. But the sixth house will include Dead Man's Pier, Bugs Eaten Alive, Universal Monsters Legends Collide, Descendants of Destruction, Hellblock Horror, and the Horrors of Blumhouse. The three house will include Fiesta de Chupacabra, Spirits of the Coven, and Halloween.
Oh, man,
So
you
they
gotta
spread them
put
out pretty well.
yeah, you gotta put Chupacabra and Spirits of the Coven in the treehouse. You gotta do that.
Mhm.
Oh my, those are
Mm-hmm. So I think we have to do both this year. Is
yeah.
basically what's
I
happening.
think
Oh,
basically,
I already decided that.
Yeah, I mean
yeah.
we're doing it. We have to book the 3 still, but
Yes.
we have to do both 100%. And in more fun news, something we've been speculating: is this going to be at the Swizzle Lounge? Is it going to be really what we expect it to be? It's the big boy. The Red Coconut Club is becoming the Dead Coconut Club. Banners are up with the Dead Coconut Club logo. It has tiki heads of the monsters themselves. And inside, you can even see props of Frankenstein. There's banners of the bride performing. They have it blocked now, so you can't see anymore. But it looks like this is going to be the real thing. So I am stoked about this.
Yeah,
I,
I'm
I hope
excited.
I hope they have specific tiki mugs. I don't think they will because they're selling the I forget geek tiki
Geeky.
or
Yeah, it's like Geeky
yeah
Tiki or something.
yeah which are great, but they're already selling those. So I'm not sure they'll also make their own. But I really hope they do make their own that I can buy because the designs they have on those banners are so fucking good.
Yeah, this is a perfect place to add to after game or pre-game for the event. So like if you leave in early and you still you're overwhelmed by and you just the lines are too long and you just need to go somewhere a little bit calmer, having this in City Walk on your way out is amazing. Or if you get to the event a little early and the lines are still a bit crazy, head into the Dead Coconut Club. I'm so excited. This is going to be amazing.
I will point out there they have not released hours whatsoever, or even made an official announcement for that matter. But
Yeah.
it's clearly there, and hopefully we'll hear the hours soon.
Hopefully,
hopefully they start a few hours before the event at least.
Yeah,
but we'll see.
Oh
we'll
yeah.
see. Because the Swizzle Lounge overlay will not be. It's not starting until 5 p.m. Just to point that out.
Yeah, hopefully it's reasonable cover too. Hopefully it's not like a.
I mean, hopefully it's no cover, but I can dream. I can dream.
I mean, Red Coconut Club usually does have a cover.
Yeah, it usually. As most City Walk places, it.
Yeah,
that's
so it probably may.
A lot of places have not since the pandemic.
Yes, when they're reopening. Yes, so
maybe they won't either because Rising Star still has no cover. Just pointing that out. So, and that's their biggest draw on an average night. Another really big one here. USA Today dropped an article where they discussed the event with Laura Sauls and Charles Gray, of course, 2 of the creative directors here in Orlando. They dropped a lot, so I will like to point out there are spoilers that I will not really discuss. I am not going to talk about anything here that is going to tell you about any of the rooms. We heard about the weekend a lot before. They even went further in depth of what the rooms are going to be. I'm not going to talk about that here, so don't worry about spoilers. It's going to be very base plot and just small things, nothing crazy. So you can stick around even if you don't want spoilers. Unless one of the spoilers you don't want is there's no plexiglass. That's confirmed. We expected it, but it's not here.
So before you go on, because we're talking about these spoilers, is there something here? Because Abel goes out about a couple of months before he's supposed to and spoils that this is happening. And then ever since then, once they finally made the announcement, they have just basically left nothing to the imagination. Mm-hmm. They have talked about what is going to happen in this place nearly room by room in some instances in these articles. Is this something where he's just no, I want that out there? What's going on here?
I mean,
this is unlike they've ever done before to have this much transparency of what we're going to see in these.
I would lean the fact that it's such a different thing, you could say, and trying to draw a broader audience that they'd rather kind of let you know what will be in this rather than just, hey, it's the weekend and come find out, because I think it's one of those properties, of course, that's going to draw in a lot of people who have never been before. So kind of giving that description might help draw them in a bit more rather than decide not to because they hadn't been interested in the event previously.
Right.
But that's just my guess, of course. I don't know.
And we did get a little bit of this last year with American Horror Story as well. Or no, I'm sorry. Haunting of Hill House. Like, didn't like we got quite a bit of like spoilery type stuff. I was like, wow, this is weird. They usually don't go this in
Mhm.
depth. So is this just kind of the new normal with these big IPs that they're going to like?
Maybe. I mean, even still, Haunting of Hill House was not anywhere near this level. And also, we're talking like USA Today and was it
Entertainment
Entertainment
Weekly.
Weekly,
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
massive publications. Like this is brand new. Like we've never
Yeah.
touched anything like this before to the level of detail they discuss the house or the actual platforms they're doing it on, reaching such a broad audience.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, it could be the new normal, but this is taking it a huge jump from last year.
I don't know if it's the new normal, more so that maybe just because of I guess, the scope of this person that this house is based off of, I guess.
Mm,
And
Yeah.
his reach is, beyond anything that they've done before with like a celebrity
mm.
outside of like Slash, but even then,
I mean, no, I mean
it's not.
it's not.
Yeah.
I think we've tried to portray this, but like this is legitimately the biggest IP they've ever had.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Movie, TV show. It doesn't like he is the biggest IP, the biggest single IP the event has
Yeah.
ever had, and it's not even really close. To be fair,
Yeah.
Hmm.
He headlined the Super Bowl halftime show like 2 years ago. Like
Super
that's
Bowl halftime show, Coachella,
yeah,
concert that sells out stadiums. Like it's
yeah,
kind of
that's
an endless
huge.
process
Yeah.
of the amount of people who want to see him.
Right. Right. All right. Well, moving on. What's next?
So they also pointed out that the number 31, I wonder why, will be seen throughout the event, quite literally.
Yeah.
The first time we saw that was on the merch, of course, the shirts and other products they released. We also saw it engraved into Horrors of Halloween on one of the fences. And then, actually, once we get into the house details that we're going to talk about, again, not spoilery, but some of the small details, you're going to hear even more about 31. It basically ties into all the houses, the scare zones. The event is about 31
That makes
because
sense.
Halloween, of course. Which I got to say is cool because I don't know how many years we've been talking about it. Like, yeah, 30 will be cool. Huge anniversary year. But 31 is Halloween. So they're going to go all in. And here we are. And they really are harping on it heavy. And I didn't expect them to actually do it, to be honest.
Yeah, it seemed like I don't want to say the easy way out because it's not, and it's something we all wanted, but it kind of is
It
when
is.
you
I
think
mean,
about it.
we wanted the easy way out. We wanted them to take the simple route because it's the obvious route. And here we are.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're thriving. I'm sorry.
The merch, what we're seeing visually wise in scare zones, I don't want to say perfection because I haven't seen the event yet, but like, I don't know if I've ever gone to an event before thinking I want the entire event as much as I do, exactly as is. I
Hmm.
feel like usually there's some things I'm like, okay, aesthetically, maybe I would have preferred this or whatever. Like, just from what I'm seeing already, I'm like, this is exactly what I would have wanted, like, to a T.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't think of anything more. Like anything I've wanted, they've announced it, I feel like at this
Mm-hmm.
point.
Yeah. This is going to be the closest thing to a perfect. You know how like some of the other anniversary years for this event has kind of fallen flat to some people. I don't think this one is as going to have that
Mm-hmm.
same. When all said and done, I don't think this one is going to have that same
Mm-hmm.
talk.
To be
This
fair,
one,
this is an anniversary year in the context that Sweet 16 is an anniversary year.
right?
It's not technically an anniversary, but the number itself has significance,
Yeah,
and they are playing on it hard like they did for Sweet 16.
right.
So,
Exactly.
and to be honest, I feel a lot of similarities, not to the contents, but the way they're doing it.
Absolutely.
And then the one more thing that I'll bring up before they do get into the actual houses themselves, Laura Sauls says Dead Man's Pier and Bug House are the two can't miss houses. So just thought I'd drop that
Ooh,
in there. And I think those are high on a lot of hype lists. So, you
yeah,
know, justifying a lot of hype.
yeah, absolutely. we'll get to it, but I'm warming up on the bug house. I'm warming up on it a little bit. We'll see.
I think me too. Anyways, we're going to start with Bug House here, not on our hype list, but what they said about it. Only one little tidbit before they actually got into more spoilery kind of territory, but referring to the 31 aspect, you're going into Pavilion 31 of the World's Tech Fair. So we kind of always had it pitched as it's just a showroom, and I think a lot of people thought it was like showroom of this company. It's their store. It's the World's Tech Fair. That's what it is. So it's a kind of larger scale thing, if you want to look at it that way.
It's the Carousel of Progress, is what I'm hearing.
There's a great thing. Okay. Anyways, but yeah, that's all we want to talk about there. Hellblock Horror will be taking place in Cell Block 31, and tying into something we discussed a lot last time was like how involved will these HHN Easter eggs be? Because they kind of made it seem like it would be small, but also there's kind of a hint that it might be a lot of the event from insiders. The exact quote in this article is that Easter egg characters from other houses will exist, etc. Finishing with some may not survive. And I feel like the way they've worded this is a bit more like it's kind of focused on them. I think I'm leaning that way. I could be very wrong, but the way they worded it, it sounds like a lot of this is going to be of HHN past characters and them being in this hell block.
I hope so. This is the closest we've got to a confirmation of this rumor, because before you just read this, I was kind of the playing devil's advocate a little bit of like, this is not confirmed. They had the opportunity to confirm it on that podcast, and they really didn't. This is the closest thing we get to a confirmation that we are it's more than just Easter egg characters from other houses. More just like little hidden things. This is actually going to be like a prison for these characters from other houses, and they are going to be featured in the same way that Cabin of the Woods kind of featured them. I was thinking that it was more going to be like, just kind of random monsters with little, there's a H&R Blood and Guts cell that's empty or whatever, and if you look closely, you can see H&R Blood and Guts, that type of thing. Like basically Easter eggs for the Lights on tour. That's what I was kind of expecting. But this is the first confirmation that we're getting that it might not be the case.
Yeah, that some may not survive comment definitely makes you think you will see what happens to some of these characters.
Yeah.
Which, will it be sad? Will it be characters who are like, wait, what? Did you just actually kill them off? Or like, that kind of deal. So I'm excited. I'm a bit more excited. I don't know if it's going to move on my hype list. I do know. You'll find out soon if it's going to move my hype list from it. But I am more excited about it regardless. And then moving on to Descendants of Destruction, again, just a really small tidbit here. We know that it is going to take place in the subway system of New York. This is going to be on platform 31. And then moving on to Dead Man's Pier, Winter's Wake. They confirm they will be bringing back characters from Dead Man's Wharf, the Scarezone, in HHN 26. And Laura Sauls even goes as far to say it will be one of the most beautiful scenic houses ever.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. And then I have this listed somewhere else, but I feel like I should bring it up here. There is a piece of merch that includes Dead Man's Pier. And not only does it have the characters you'd expect to see, there is what appears to be the arms of a kraken attacking them. So let your imagination wander. I don't know if that'll be as we expect, but could there be a massive kraken in there?
That would be awesome. A giant puppet.
Mm-hmm. So we'll see. We'll see. But there is a lot of hype about how these sets and the experience will be as a whole.
Oh, you just got me excited, Duff. If the last room or two is just a giant fucking kraken.
Can you imagine? Like the Mind Flayer in 29, but actually
done correctly.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Oh, man, I hope so. But anyways, we'll move on to the weekend. After Hours Nightmare. Charles Gray directly says this is very intense, very gory, and very aggressive. They're basically combating like what you would expect out of a musical artist and how they approach it. And they're saying, no, 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 no. It's going to be a bit intense for you. There's going to be a lot of gore going on. So something we kind of expected, and we've talked about in this podcast. We, from the imagery we saw, we expect them to take it that direction, but fully confirming it right there. And then also that lighting will be very heavily involved and also programmed with the music itself, which also kind of leads back to like why this probably isn't part of the Unmasking the Horde tour, because it won't look as good during the day because lighting is so important to it. It sounds like
music and lighting play such a huge part that there's no point of doing a unmasking here.
Exactly. And then we move over to Legends Collide. This has the very fun factor of a lot of people's favorite house last year, where there's a new winner every single night. And they clarify if that's going to rotate during the night or it's going to be once a night. But there will be new winners, is what we know.
So there's, I love it. I love that. Yeah.
We, of course, have to wonder how that will tie into the Hollywood story itself, because we know that's part 2. Is it just something that really doesn't affect what takes place after, or will they address that somehow? We'll see. Whatever.
They're all dead. They can bounce back, right?
Yeah, exactly. That could be the case. But just for Orlando
the
side
Wolfman's
alone,
not dead. The other 2 are dead, right?
Yeah, he can't die. Specifically. For Orlando, though, I think that's great news. That's always fun when they do something like that. And then the last house we're going to discuss that they talked about in this USA Today article is Fiesta de Chupacabras. And it has me a bit more excited about it as well. I was excited about it before, but, of course, there were concerns. The cast and production crew are all bilingual, English and Spanish. And it seems there's just a lot more harping on, like, listen, we really took into consideration the culture and the people involved in this culture. And that's very exciting for me personally. And I assume both of you as well.
Yes. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. They're doing a good job at definitely laying the groundwork here. Kind of the PR on saying no, that we really did. I had people of color part of this as well in designing this.
Because I'm sure they saw what a lot of people were saying, and they said something, and I think it sounds very adequate for the time being. So we'll see, but I have a lot of hope for how it's done. Also, they called out one particular character of the house, which is the mask maker, who makes the masks for basically all the villagers for the festival itself. They will also be at Scarezone Dining telling the stories of the festival and Chupacabras in both English and Spanish.
That's badass.
I love it.
So Scarezone Dining, if you were just kind of considering it, might have to jump up your list a bit, because it's going to fully tie into this original house.
Oh, that is bad. Usually Scarezone Dining is just kind of like whatever big IP is there. To have it like a character who's literally just telling, like a storyteller that kind of provides lore for a house like this, that is awesome.
Yeah, and like they, when they have originals in Scarezone Dining, it's typically like a scarecrow from Scarecrow the Reaping, or something who doesn't talk and interact. They just kind of come and take a picture. It sounds like this is going to be like one of the absolute main features of Scarezone Dining right here, and the whole storytelling aspect. I am fully sucked in, like 100%.
Oh, absolutely. And then on top of it, like, I know, we just said it's they don't talk, but there's a photo op right now up in Louis for Halloween. So to have, Michael Myers will obviously be over there by the hedge, I'm assuming. And then, so you'll have the character that doesn't speak, and then you'll be able to actually have like real life interactions with a character that matters for an original.
And I mean, just think about the possibilities of, like, they are told the whole story, and it's ingrained in their head, and you could literally ask questions about it, and they can answer these questions about this story that they've created. This
fictional town, and I'm
this is the first time I will ever recommend to make the houses themselves better. You might want to go to Scarezone Dining. We'll see. We're going to do it. It'll happen. So I'll give you the full confirmation then. But it sounds like from this, definitely.
Yeah, no, this is really cool, guys. This is the way to bring back character dining, is
Oh, yeah.
this way. Yeah, it's been gone for a couple of years, and now it's back. Yeah, no, this is the way to do it.
Absolutely, absolutely. And then another big thing that has popped out. It was actually specifically today, on Tuesday, that a lot, or was it Monday? It was Monday and Tuesday. There's a bit that dropped both days, but a lot of new merch dropped. Like they dropped a "Never Go Alone" shirt that I actually like, which is pretty insane.
Yeah. Oh, the pizza fry blinky cup, like
Hmm.
there was like, I
Yeah,
don't know, iconic, I guess, snacks
yeah, yeah.
shirt
Like
that was really
Blinky
good.
cups, and it said join like the Blinky Cup cult and all
Yeah.
that, and like
They're really listening, it feels like,
yeah,
to the fans, like this time.
Yeah,
I don't know how to it's fan service. It feels like everything they're releasing is fan service.
in the best way possible though. Like
Yeah.
because fan service is sometimes a negative
Hmm.
connotation. No, not in this sense. Like
No.
I love this fan service. This is what I wanted, and you gave it to me.
Hmm.
Oh, also, on the house shirt that we've seen, of course, already, it has that skeleton on the front holding like the gravestone.
Hmm.
He is now a wall mount, and it looks so fucking
I
good.
love it. It
It
says
looks so
Halloween Horror
good.
Nights and the Roman numerals for 31. Oh, it's
I think it's
so
2022, but yeah,
or
yes.
whatever, 2022. I don't know Roman numerals. Don't ask me.
And that's
Uh,
because it's now popped up in Hollywood, the same design, but
there we go.
the appropriate house is on the back. Yeah. Also, I didn't put this. I forgot, and also it came late. All the merch, not all the merch, a lot of the merch has popped up in Hollywood like today,
Oh,
and
finally.
a lot of Little Boo merch, like a lot of it went over there.
Oh.
Yeah, yeah. So,
Well,
and
there's your complaint
all
about
of
Little
our
Boo.
everyday is Halloween merch that we loved all over there as well.
Mm,
So, which has nothing to do with their actual event. So, most years I understand why, like, I understand why you do it. I don't approve of it necessarily. I understand why, but like that has nothing to do with Hollywood's event
no.
at all.
I think they're using the excuse that they made the Terror Tram, the Hollywood Harry portion, Halloween themed. And I think that's why they're shoehorning it in.
It looks like a single facade, but we'll get to that soon. But okay.
Hmm.
Yep, great. But before we get to Hollywood, we do have a couple more things on the Orlando side. One is, well, the food. It's out. I think it was like the day after or 2 days after we dropped the last episode. The menus came out into the parks, most of them at least. I'm not going to read over every single item they have because they did release that beautiful article on the Discover Universal blog for us today. So let's go over a few things. First of all, guys, this vegan selection is
Hmm.
wild. Um, so the fried zombie brains, which are going to be in Meat's Locker over in Sting Alley, is vegan tempura battered cauliflower tossed in spicy gochujang, which is like a Korean sauce, and garnished with toasted sesame seeds and scallions, and they look fucking
Hmm.
insane. And also, I'll point out, like almost all these items have been already tested. They were doing like stress tests on the kitchens themselves and gave them out for free to people who were there. And so
Yeah.
we've seen videos of these out there, and it seems like people are really liking them as well. And this item seemed like a pretty big star.
Yeah, I'm excited. There is so much, and they were giving people one of every item on the
Yeah,
menu if
I
you
think
were like right
yeah,
place, right time.
I think depending on the day, it was either every item or you can have one savory, one sweet
Mm.
kind of
Yeah,
deal.
but there's so many YouTubers you can just search HHN
Yeah,
food and see a bunch of it.
they're there. They're there.
My favorite thing is that we're getting something from Mardi Gras, kind of repackaged. Jeff, I was talking to you about it earlier today.
Mhm.
The petrified rat tails. It's like funnel cake
Oh,
fries with crab dip on top, and they had these crab beignets at Mardi Gras that were so good. And I, it's like the HHN Food and Wine Festival,
hmm
and
yeah,
that's all I'm going to call
basically.
it at
And
this point.
I do want to call it one thing that's cool as well. You were talking about coming from Mardi Gras. This is even cooler. I was actually it's Lash TV. Adrian, go check him out. Um, he was in a video. I don't know if it was his or Zombie Chris's, but what they had a video together, and he said he was discussing with I don't remember if it was a manager or a chef who helped open up Beijing,
Mm.
and he said that this item directly came from there,
Oh.
and that's pretty cool. I'm just saying that's pretty cool.
yeah. The food looks just amazing this year. I was talking to just kind of I don't even remember who, but it's just someone found out that I like Halloween Horror Nights, and they're just kind of a casual fan. And the first thing they said about this year is like, I don't know much about the event this year, but all I know is that the food is going to be amazing this year. Like they knew about the food because they've done such a good job about advertising the food options. And I was like, hell yeah, the food is going to be on point. Yeah, they've done a really good job kind of reaching the casual fans about like the food this year, and the last couple of years, honestly, but this year even more so.
Yeah, no, this is. I mean, listen, we've been here since 2019 doing this podcast, and every year we say make it more like a. I don't want to say food festival, but give us more options and more options and more options. This feels like the year where we're finally hitting that level where we're like, oh, we are content with what you are doing. Absolutely. Because last year was a big step. This year is insane. And let me just run through the other vegan items real quick. We won't go through a full description, but they have an African lentil and potato sambusa coffin. I fucking love sambusa. Love sambusa. Roasted sweet potato and mushroom street tacos.
Oh hell yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I kind of wish they had a meat item on it too as well. I'm not gonna lie, but it's okay. Whatever. I'll still love it. They look pretty legit though. I'm not gonna lie. Lil Boo's spicy pumpkin bun.
It looks so good.
Oh,
It does.
that sounds good.
It's filled with butternut squash and spices, basically.
Oh hell yeah, that sounds so good.
So those are kind of like the main vegan items.
Oh wait, no, you forgot Chili Lee Ray.
Chili Lee, which I kid you not, I was sitting on my couch one day, like a couple days after we found out it existed, and I thought the words Chili Lee Ray and laughed literally out loud. I was like, "This is a thing. This is a thing they actually made and named it Chili Lee Ray." Obviously, Charles Lee Ray, Chucky Booth.
It's
you get
funny.
it. You get it.
I like
It's
it.
funny.
It's
yeah.
fun.
I like it. If this is how we're shoehorning Chucky in every year, I'll accept it.
Yeah. Can I bring you back, guys, one more time to the Meats Locker, where they have spicy fried chicken offals, which is like the actual term itself is kind of like the entrails of an animal and the leftovers, I guess you could say. In this case, it is not, but it's crispy fried chicken thighs, peanuts, crunchy chili rings, more gochujang sauce, topped with sesame seeds and scallions, and holy shit, it looks insane. And sticking on the Korean flavor, maggot covered cheese dog, which is a Korean style hot dog on a stick that has cheese. It's rolled in puff rice cereal to kind of simulate the maggots, and gochujang drizzle. And then let's just run through their stuff. One I'm really excited about, the Witch's Spell Cauldron Stew.
Yes.
Which is like a green chili stew that's going to be available at the food truck over near Music Plaza. There's pepperoni pizza skulls, the Haunted Horseshoe, which is like an open-faced burger on garlic toast that has a bunch of shit on top. One I'm not as excited about and slightly concerned for my taste buds as someone who eats basically anything, the Killer Stovetop Popcorn Custard. Which the person who's writing this article says is hands down their favorite.
Wow.
It's butter popcorn infused custard with a layer of caramel on the bottom, topped with blood spattered sweet kettle corn.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like my cup of tea.
That sounds pretty wild. They have a major sweets ice cream sandwich. They have a coconut yuzu eyeball. They have the Angry Bear meat over back at Meats Locker, which is like, sounds insane. It's hot Cheetos and white cheddar flavor marshmallow.
Okay.
What is going on? I don't know.
It sounds good. I don't know. I'm going to try it.
Listen, I love Flamin' Hot Cheetos. I love cheese. So, I don't love marshmallow. Like, marshmallow's okay, but I'm probably going to enjoy it. They don't have all the beers and cocktail options. They're all out there. So if you want to go look them up, go find the pictures. They're on Twitter. They're on YouTube. But the ones they highlight in this article specifically, they have a pecan pie cider that comes from Keel Farms, which is a pretty local cidery / brewery. They have Lacto Cooler, which is a Berliner Weiss, which it's a sour beer that you can find it in a lot of different places. And that's kind of like the main beer they're marketing. Would fit really well at HHN 29, obviously by the name. Whole Hog Pumpkin Ale, I think it was the one from last year. Yep, they confirm right there. It is.
Yep.
And what they call the signature cocktails. The Burning Skull, which is a tequila-based drink. It has Grangala liqueur, lime juice, simple syrup, mango nectar, pineapple juice, jalapeno, and basil concentrate, mixed with smoked chipotle pepper bitters, and served in a skull-shaped souvenir cup. We saw that skull-shaped souvenir cup last year. You can buy it on Amazon in bulks for like $10. And Electric Death, which is a gin-based tiki drink with Bull's Blue Curacao, lime juice, B.R. Reynolds, Orgeat, almond syrup, simple syrup, pineapple juice, and pimento bitter. Pimento bitters. Holy shit.
Yeah.
But then they're also going to have items throughout City Walk. Voodoo Donut, Twosome, Red Coconut Club, obviously Dead Coconut Club. So a lot of food and drink to look forward to this year, guys.
It's going to be insane. Yeah, and it sounds like they have finally kind of taken, like, not straight up a food festival, but they have really have these booths all over the park that have unique items, as close as you can get to a food festival. I think they're really pushing that boundary, and I love it.
One thing I will point out, they had a drink called Save Your Tears at the Weekend Bar, which is over by Transformers, that large bar. It was the same exact drink they originally posted over at the Pumpkin booth. They took the pumpkin menus down almost immediately and have not put them back up. So maybe they're going to change the drink and it'll be different. I hope.
Yeah, it was just really... it felt lazy because every other stand had its own drink or it was named something. And then Save Your Tears, which, like, it sounds really good. Also, I'm just happy as, like, someone who, like, prefers bourbon or whiskey. Like, we rarely have ever had drinks at HHN.
This year we have several.
Yeah. So, like, that's my liquor of choice. So, like, I'm excited to finally have options. But it was really weird to just kind of, like, copy and paste a drink when they were doing that at other stands. We're not saying they weren't doing that, but they gave it a different name, or that it was weird.
Yeah, it was, and it doesn't make sense for the pumpkin booth because it was, I believe, peach boba. Right?
Yeah,
was in it. Was the fruit involved in it was a peach boba, and I was like, what? So I don't know if it was a mistake or if they realized it was a mistake the second Twitter saw it and went, what the fuck? Because Twitter absolutely went, what the fuck is going on? Why is that at both booths, and why is that at the pumpkin booth specifically? But regardless, the event this year is going... Oh, here, actually, I got to point one more thing out. We have a few returning drinks. Ghoul Juice, Bog Slime 2.
the sequel.
The sequel, thank you. And the return of the Circus Peanut.
Oh, wow.
I talked about whiskey, but I take it all back now.
It's back.
I wonder if it's the same or if they have touched it up a bit.
They must have tweaked it.
Well, because I don't think so.
No?
Well, Bog Slime is the exact same drink, even though they're calling it Bog Slime 2, the sequel.
Mm-hmm.
So I was looking at it, and to me, it didn't seem any different, but I didn't try the Circus Peanut. So I don't really know what it had.
You're lucky.
I did. It was not good.
So I've heard.
I'm usually not like nothing to me is usually terrible drink or food wise for the most part. It was terrible, like horrible. Nothing about it made any sense for the palate, like at all. So I'm gonna be very intrigued. I'm gonna try it again. You'll see it on TikTok, I'm sure, everyone, just so you know. But yeah, that'll be something to try. And then one more food and drink kind of thing. Typically, and as confirmed, the Swizzle Lounge, I say typically, it was 1 year, the Swizzle Lounge will have a bar this year themed to Universal Monsters. All of those drinks will be at every Universal Orlando resort, all 8 of them. So you can get all those specialty cocktails no matter where you are staying. You won't have the thematic enhancement, which we're not sure how much that's actually going to be, but the drinks will be there. And then also at Endless Summer, specifically Dockside, they're going to have a bar that they're basically referring to as a Halloween Oasis. We don't know much more about that at the time, but it sounds like there's going to be a themed Halloween bar experience over at Dockside at Endless Summer. So keep that in mind if you're staying there or want to head over there for that matter. And I think we are finally updated on Orlando, and I bet we missed a lot. I'm sure.
Probably, but it's opening week. We're all busy.
Yeah.
next time I talk to you, we're gonna fucking have gone through the event for 3 nights. Oh my
Oh
god.
Jesus!
I know. We'll have so much to talk about.
Oh my God! And we'll have Duff and I will have gone through unmasking.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh my God! There's
Yeah,
let's
we'll have to save that for a different show, but yeah, for
yeah.
sure.
Why are we rushing past opening weekend? We're let's savor
Yeah.
this.
Well, I
Yeah.
just wanted to be Friday, to be fair.
Yeah.
So, um, anyway, Orlando. That's what we got for now.
All right,
Ooh,
rapid fire Hollywood, so we can get to our list.
it is. It
Yes.
is rapid fire. We don't have to talk about much. Sideshow Slaughterhouse was a scare zone. Well, it still is a scare zone at Hollywood. That was kind of like maybe it's a bit insensitive. Some of the things they're putting out.
Mhm.
They took them down and or replaced them. So if you want to go see pictures of what they did, go check that out. But they made a lot of changes. Just pointing that out. The weekend after hours nightmare bar is a thing, and it's not the thing like it is in Orlando where they just put a vinyl over an existing bar. It is like an archway that leads up to stairs, and it looks fucking cool. And it seems like it's gonna have a lot of legit shit potentially. No menu released. I'm just assuming that, to be fair.
Nice.
They released my favorite food location ever, called Killer Barbecue from Outer Space.
Okay.
All right.
Of-
Okay. All
Because when
right.
you-
Good answer. Good answer.
when I think of killer clowns, I think of barbecue,
Yeah.
of
I
course.
think
Same.
And I'm assuming it's going to be the same food they had for the Texas Chainsaw Massacre booth, which was not the barbecue you would have expected. It was like fucking chicken only. And okay, whatever. Anyways, the Terror Tram, as we alluded to before, has a pumpkin facade that reads "Happy Harry Halloween." I'm actually excited. They're going like that, kind of like Hollywood Harry is presenting this Halloween tram tour, and then we get to go into basically the mind of Jordan Peele with
Oh wow, Hollywood
Us.
Harry's back.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it is his. It is his. I forgot you weren't there for the Hollywood episode. Yes,
No, I missed that. Yeah, I
yeah,
missed that.
it's Hollywood Harry's tram tour
There's
once
a
again.
photo op with him too.
Oh wow.
Oh wait, they did also. Did you see that they added props and they bloodied that up? The Hollywood
Which
photo
ones?
op, the one that we talked about with John.
Oh, the one at RIP tour location. Are you talking about?
No,
I don't think
this
they
one-
bloodied.
Well, maybe that was something else, but it looked like it was the Hollywood Harry one that was already like they said.
Oh, okay. Yes. Sorry, I was thinking, and actually, there's something I could add in. The RIP tour location photo shoot is there too, and it's the Never Go Alone logo that actually looks really good. So, yeah. But yeah, I guess that's kind of all the Hollywood updates for now. I'm sure we'll talk a lot about it next week after we review opening weekend of Orlando, because that will be their opening weekend we're going into. So look forward to that.
Alrighty, Duff. We that was a doozy of news and rumors. Let's get into the main segment. Let's finally reveal our official HH31 hype list. Let's start with shows, then let's scare zones, and then into houses. Let's hop right into it. Shows. Let's do it.
As if we haven't like built up the suspense hard enough, we're gonna start with shows, right?
Yeah.
Got it.
Let's get the simple ones out.
Okay, so we're gonna start bottom and go up, right? As
Yeah,
usual.
I mean countdown. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I guess I'll start then. Number 2. I mean, listen, I liked you last year, but Nightmare Fuel Wildfire, because I'm gonna be honest. The mini spoiler here, by the way, very mini, 10 seconds. The set list leaked because people have heard it. They use like 6 of the same songs.
Oh, I didn't know
Oh
that.
wow.
I don't love that. So that's kind of partially why, and I would have put the other one ahead anyways. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, no, I was hoping there would be all fire themed songs. So like that's
Mo Fire.
yeah.
Mo Fire.
Yeah. Yeah, so that I mean it's not gonna drop it because my number 2 was is also Wildfire.
You aren't going to drop it to 3 on your new show list.
I mean, if we count some of the stage shows in the scare zones, maybe. But no, I am actually really excited. I did not get to see Nightmare Fuel, but that's not because I did try, and I've heard great things. I am excited about the show. It's just, it's not. It's it's hard to break away from the houses to sit into a show that is not Bill and Ted.
You're still stuck on that too, a little bit.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it feels weird, and I think some of the redacted performers hit the spot. With
Not
like
for me. Not
not altered states. I thought altered states was
it was good
one
enough.
of the better shows that have been on that stage.
Which one was Altered States? Which year?
2019.
It was just kind of 3 variety acts with a silly plot.
But I thought the plot was fun and the music was fun.
I don't know. The soccer guy is kind of.
It was also a sausage fest. It was a giant sausage fest.
Is that how we're judging it then? And HHN sucks.
HHN is a sausage.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just saying. I mean, not to talk about a show from 2019, but you have some talented female aerialists. Like, why not get a female up there? Anyway, okay, we're good.
Well, I mean, speaking of females, my second, I guess, show is also Nightmare Fuel, which for me should be shocking that the other show is my number one. But
it's actually not still because
even with how much I hated Marathon,
no, because kind of the thematics are so much up your alley.
That's fair. All right, well, can I say what I am excited about Nightmare Fuel?
Go ahead, please.
So I guess that they were supposed to be the headliners last year, but there is a UK performance group called the Fuel Girls. And they're the ones who the show is centered around. And this is like their shtick. Like,
oh yeah,
they travel and they're kind of like BDSM kinky, kind of like the way their costuming is leans, which is what we saw last year.
Right. Nightmare Fuel, yeah.
But last year that show was modified because they couldn't travel due to COVID. So it was supposed to be based around them anyways.
So they had the last minute kind of change it a little bit.
Exactly, which is why we got the other performers that we got, and I think that maybe why there was so much fire, maybe to kind of replace the bits where they still are a fire performance troupe, but they also do aerial stunts. They do other things like that. I even saw some like, you know, that where they wear like a metal bikini and they use like a saw. And make sparks. I saw stuff like that. If you look them up on TikTok, they're actually really interesting. So I'm excited to see their show this year.
I did look into it, and I think the performers last year were great. But again, was supposed, like, the show was built around this specific group. So I am curious to see how it works now that it's them this time.
Yeah, but it didn't beat my number one, which is all of our number one.
Yeah, Ghoulish. Hey guys, that's our number one show. There it is. Yep, I wonder why. Me and Mike both love Marathon of Mayhem, and Jess just kind of likes what they're gonna do. I just told you all of our opinions. There it is.
Wow. Hey, it looks like Goosebumps to me, and Goosebumps, you've all heard me go off about it on multiple podcasts at this point. So,
I will say I've heard a lot of people say like they're absolutely shocked they're not doing Marathon of Mayhem again, and almost take it in a direction like the show is not gonna be anything like Marathon of Mayhem. And I think it's more just that it's gonna be a different name. It feels like maybe a higher storytelling aspect, but it's not gonna be like a completely different concept or anything. No. You know, it's still gonna be what Marathon of Mayhem was for the most part.
It's still a Lagoon show
with a different theme, you know? And I think part of that reason is because Carnage Factory had the same name, and I think that's part of what made it kind of down for people, is like it had this to live up to. Had the same name, and it was not 29's Marathon of Mayhem.
No, and this gives it a chance to be its own thing.
Do you think if Carnage Factory dropped the Marathon of Mayhem and was just Carnage Factory, would it have been a more popular show?
I think it would have held up better in people's opinions, but I don't think it would have been considered like the better show than the Marathon of Mayhem.
No, more popular than the show.
I just think not making that direct comparison would help people's opinions a bit.
Yes,
like there would be less expectation for it.
Totally agree. It was all because they were comparing it to Marathon of Mayhem because it was supposed to be a sequel. If they had just, like Ghoulish, they learned... Just like Ghoulish, if they had just called it Carnage or Jack Presents Carnage Factory or some shit, like they would have had a better overall reaction. I have to assume. I
want to point out one defense I saw of like why someone thinks it's going to be completely different. They're like, okay, it has a different name, So it's going to be different because like they never changed Bill and Ted's Excellent Halloween
Oh my
Adventure. I was like,
god.
that that's because the characters were the same every time.
Yeah,
Like,
because
what are you going to change it to? Bill and Ted's Excellent Spooky Dookie Fall Extravaganza? No.
yeah, because that show was all basically the same plot, but then just was pop culture references of parroting of what happened that year. Like this
So,
is obviously going to be different than
sorry, someone I didn't remember who did it, but to call you out on here, but like that opinion's pretty wild to me. Pretty wild. Anyway, sorry. Moving on to scare zones, which I think a little more variation here. Definitely more because I know what Mike's list is, sort of. Let's start with our number fives. How about you kick us off, Jess?
All right. Well, I thought this was a controversial opinion at first, but then doing that episode with Catacombs, I realized it's more, I guess, the norm. My number five is Horrors of Halloween. I almost called it something else.
Ooh,
But
the W
I,
one.
yeah. But no, for me, it's location. It's always going to be location. I don't tend to love the zones up there. I do like where the Pumpkin Lord's throne is sitting right now. I like that it's a little farther out and those set pieces are a little spread out. But to me, this idea would have been better maybe in a different location, which is why it's my fifth.
It's fair.
Should I go next?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So my fifth is also Horrors of Halloween. Now, I have to say my reasoning is partly location, but not really. It's mostly like because Anarcade was my number one scare zone of 2019. I think this location can, while it is cramped, can have some badass zones, and it has in the past. I think it's more that we've already been kind of told that this is kind of the preview mashup zone, that we're going to get a little bit of characters from other zones in this zone. So it's just kind of like the teaser zone. And I've never really loved the teaser zone. Like, I like zones. Give it its own like plot. Give it like if it's this is gonna be Pumpkin Lord's zone, let's see some other Pumpkin Lord minions. Let's give him a crew that aren't just stolen from the other zones. Let's flesh this out. Let's not just kind of make this a preview zone. That's why I am having this lower. It's
Mhm.
just it could be better, not necessarily because of location, just because of execution. At least what we're being told.
Mike, I agree with everything you said, but also I add on fully location. And to be honest, on Catacombs episode, I had this number five. That has changed. Also, due to location, my number five is now Conjure the Dark.
Oh,
Boo.
boo, boo.
Yeah.
Boo.
So here's the thing. Both of those locations for me are rough for different reasons. San Francisco specifically is a son of a bitch to go through. Like it is miserable at times, and the props have started to cram in a bit more already this year, and that's I don't know, you know. Also, I'm very excited for Spirits of the Coven and Flapper Witches and that kind of aesthetic and stuff. And this feels very Scarlet Witch and Multiverse of Madness. Look at the logo of Conjure the Dark and what's behind it. It literally looks like Multiverse of Madness, and it's about sorcery. And I'm not saying I hate the film at all or anything like that, but that's not what I'm looking for in this zone at all. And also, again, location is probably the main factor that had the other location I dislike, Jump It. So I guess I'll just move it to my number four because it's also Horrors of Halloween, like you guys had at five. Again, location. The reason it jumped Conjure the Dark is because I enjoy how it's going to draw every zone together. It's not just like a preview of what every zone is. It is Pumpkin Lord growing the entire event. And we're seeing vines pop up in every single scare zone. So it feels just so interconnected that even though I don't love the location and how they approach it, and that it is just kind of a preview zone at the end of the day, that has me just a bit more excited about it than Conjure the Dark.
All right, fair. I'll take it. But boo.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
It's fine.
All right, Jess, you want to go with your fourth?
Sure. This one's gonna get me hate because people were mad at me on Catacombs. My number four, and I'm gonna before I even say it, I'm gonna just defend myself. I'm afraid that it's not gonna live up to the house, and it's Scarecrow Cursed Soil.
Mm.
That house is very close to my heart. It's my first year. It was my favorite house. It's a lot of people's favorite house of all time. And I just hold it really high. And I personally don't think I've seen a house go to a zone. I'm probably wrong, but it's late and it's a long week. But I've seen zones go to houses and they haven't been the best. So I'm hesitant. It will probably rise. It will absolutely rise during the event. But right now, it's four.
I don't hate that as much as you think, but Mike, go
Ooh.
ahead.
All right, my number four. No, I think this is going to be controversial for you guys. My number four is Graveyard Deadly Unrest.
Oh, Jess is gonna fucking kill you.
I hate this
Jess is
podcast.
gonna
I'm
slit
leaving.
your throat.
I don't
No.
want to be here anymore.
Let me preface this, but these all five of these scare zones this year seem totally badass. Now, that being said, the reason why I have this for is that when I can close my eyes, I can kind of picture what this is going to look like. Now, I hope I'm wrong, but I kind of can already know what to expect. And while I expect something great, that doesn't. I get excited mostly when I don't know what to expect. When I can close my eyes and can't fill in all the pieces perfectly, that's when my mind really starts to get run and be like, oh, could it be this? Could it be that? That's when I get excited. When I can close my eyes and for the most part kind of picture what this is going to look like, I don't get quite as excited. And that's what it is like for me for Graveyard Deadly Unrest. Is it going to be amazing? Could it end up being my favorite zone? Yes, but as of right now, I kind of have an idea of what this is going to be like, and maybe I'm totally wrong, but for that reason, I have it number four.
That's wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Well, I'm gonna move on to my number three because Jess, this is why I'm not super upset where you put Scarecrow because it is my number three, so I'm one spot
Oh.
above you. And to be honest, it's because I have some concerns about living up to the hype, same as you. And I mean, that's a preconceived notion of can it reach the levels of what this house was? That is probably in my top five houses of all time, top 10 if not. I don't know. That's just a scary thought, and that sounds terrible. Like that's why I feel that way because I think a lot of the sets look great, and I have a lot of hope. Again, like Mike said, I think to be honest, if you took all five of these zones, take away location, all five would be higher in my hype list than if you included last year's five before the event. Like all 5
Mm-hmm.
It's just a phenomenal looking year for scare zones. It's just below a couple others because my bias that maybe it can't reach what I want it to reach.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'm gonna just jump from number three because number three is also Scarecrow, Cursed Soil.
Mm.
That being said, the more I hear about it, the more excited I get for it. Not that I wasn't already excited. Again, this is a stacked year, but there's going to be a giant fucking windmill. There's going to be a truck. Yeah, this is going to be really cool. I mean, we already knew about the barn, but I the only thing, the reason why it was just kind of number three is Central Park doesn't always do it for me. I really tried to take location out of it because I just try to more focus on like I think any location if done right can work. But for Central Park for me, um, take away the giant barn they're going to make us walk through has always just kind of fallen flat. I
Can I
know I'm kind
interrupt
of
you for 1 second?
yeah.
1 second. I'm sorry. You think that Central Park overall is a worse location, simply location, than San Fran?
Just for me, yeah. I
Oh,
don't know what. See, San Fran, we can get some variety. Okay, so we get variety in San Fran. For Central Park, at least for me, we get kind of the same vibe each year. we get kind of the same stuff, like kind of in Central Park. It's it's not a bad zone. It's just kind of we get the same feeling every year. I'm never blown away by Central Park. It's kind of, I know what to expect there. We're gonna get the Halloween zone. We're gonna get the overgrown zone. We're gonna get the woodsy zone. We're gonna we're gonna get the trees. We're gonna get the forest. I know what to kind of expect in there. Um, I'm just never super blown away what we get in there. Is all.
Jess, please say something and help me out.
I'm speechless right now. Um, wow, what did Central Park do to you?
It's also a bit tight. I know everyone talks about how tight San Fran is. Central Park can get really tight, guys.
It can. Absolutely.
You're not wrong. I just think it's tight in a different way. And also, the thing is, because the show gets bottlenecked out one direction, that there's times where it's forced to be slammed out of its mind, where Central Park doesn't have that same issue.
Can I ask you maybe this is just a bitchy question, but so then in 25, when Carnage let out right by that scare zone, did you hate Central Park?
I didn't attend 25. But is that I don't think Duff attended 20. I don't think Duff attended 25.
25 was the year I've missed. Yes.
So then
yes.
I'm just saying, just to play out devil's advocate for a second. So you would have had the same issues with Central Park back in the day. Yeah. Okay. So what am I on? 3?
3. Yes.
So my 3 is Conjure the Dark. And just because I'm excited, I've been excited since I was guessing that it was, Celtic witches. Samhain, the tradition of what, Samhain in the first Halloween is really exciting to me. I know it looks like Scarlet Witch's font. It looks like a little multiverse moment, but I'm hoping it's just like multiverse of witches, which is why it's a little higher for me. And witches are always going to be higher. I'm sorry, Ash, over on RIP. I know you hate witches, but they're my favorite trope. So
you gave me all that shit and you only put it at 3.
Okay, my 1 and 2 though are very solid. They're not changing.
So are mine. In fact, they're clearly the same as yours.
Boo. They're not the same order.
No, they're probably not.
This has gotten sassy. And I like it, but this has gotten kind of like very sassy. And I hope it stays like that.
You guys deserve it. Jeez. God. All right, whatever. I'll go to 2. So my 2. So to be honest, I'm very excited for both of my top 2. And sets. The sets of these 2 zones are fucking immaculate and have drawn me in so heavily. And I don't think they can be bad, quote unquote, because of the sets and how good they are. But my number 2, I'm gonna go with Deadly Unrest. And the only reason is because I feel the story, we don't really know it much, to be fair, but it just doesn't feel like it can be as intriguing. So that hype level I have of wondering what will be isn't really there, because I kind of know what to, almost like Mike said, I kind of know what to expect and what to envision. I'm excited about it, very excited about it, but not to the level of my number 1, because I don't know what to fully expect.
Yeah.
That's different from the hype episode last week, right? Or did you change?
No, my 1, 2 are the same.
Oh, okay. I don't remember you having it.
My only change was 4, 5, actually.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. Okay. All right, Mike, do you want to go next?
I do. So my number 2, and it seems like this is a confusing number 2 to some people. Hunter kind of called me out on the hype list episode of me, the only one who had any sort of like excitement for this zone at the level that I have it, and that is Conjure the Dark. I, like just said, you say the words Celtic, you say the words first Halloween, and you say the word witches. In any other year, that's going to excite all of you gut fuckers. So, like, yeah, it's in San Francisco, but let's give it a fucking shot, right? Let's give it a second. We've got the first Halloween. We got Celtic witches. This could be the standout zone of the year. We're poo-pooing this solely because San Fran gets a little crowded sometimes.
Okay, I gotta step in and defend myself just a tad here. I said in another year, all 5 of these are above everything else. I'm excited. I am excited. It's just not the same level because of its location.
We also have no clue what this is going to be. Sure, it could be terrible, but this could be amazing. This is the one that we really don't know what this is
So
going to
why would I
be.
be excited? I know nothing.
It could be a
I know
sexy zone.
nothing.
We have no clue. This could be a really theatrical zone, or it could fall flat. This is a hype list, and I am hype because we don't know what to expect here. We have seen some awesome.
Mom and dad
sets
are fighting.
We have seen some awesome. I like that this is kind of turned into like an adversarial.
We haven't even made it to houses yet.
I know we're only on
Yeah.
zones.
Like,
I
listen,
like it.
I like my mind to wander, not to have zero fucking clue compared to everything else.
You know it's going to be
Zero.
Celtic witches, bro.
Okay,
That
but
is
what's
going to be
happening in the
amazing.
zone? And do I know that?
Get down the bubble, Doug.
Listen. I'm sorry. Hold on. If you go over to Horrors of Halloween, where they have a stand that represents each zone,
Saying
why
horrors
does
of Halloween?
Horrors? That's what you said first. So, Horrors of Halloween, Production Central. They have a prop for each scare zone. That's not that one, and it's like flapper witch hat. So how is that Celtic witches?
That is not a flapper witch hat. That's just
It kind of is.
It's a
Hey,
basic
come on,
ass.
come
All right, now I'm in the
come
fight. Ding,
on.
ding, ding. Round 2.
I'm tapping her
It
in.
has the
She's in.
tilt and everything. Come on.
Excuse
Come
me,
on.
but where's the flapper aspect in a fucking pointy black witch hat, Duff?
It's not. It has the tilt and everything. It fits perfect. That's not. Come on.
Duff.
You agree with me, and you know that's not perfectly what you expected
Oh,
it
Mike,
to be.
he's just mad I'm not on his side.
No, you don't need to be on my side, but I know you don't fully. You did not expect it to look like that. Come on.
No,
This zone,
I don't think it. I just think they needed a witch hat.
This zone
So-
has potential to be badass.
Why are we fighting?
And
They
even
all
if
do.
it,
they all do.
even if it is Scarlet Witch itchy, you loved
I
that
do.
show. You
I
loved
do.
WandaVision.
I
So
did, and I
if
love
we-
Multiverse of Madness, but that's not what's being pitched to me, and what I'm seeing doesn't fit that in that zone for me. I mean, it could blow me away. It's my number 5. If you put it last year, it's my number 1 against everything else last year on my hype list, 100%, regardless of location. But this year, it's not. It's just not. I'm sorry.
I'm excited to see what this aesthetic is. If it is a mashup of like that, Conjure the Dark, font with Celtic witches, and we get like a mashup of those two things, that could be really cool. Or Conjure the Dark font, it really has nothing to do with the zone, and they just kind of went with it. And the zone is more traditional Celtic, and that could be really cool too. I am excited to see what this is, and that's kind of what a hype list is. I'm really excited to see what this turns into. And I'm for this one, I am kind of throwing away that San Fran can get messy because at the end of the day, I think if it's a good enough zone, I think people will hang out in there no matter what, and people will enjoy it.
Hey,
Isn't this where Dead Man's Wharf was?
yeah.
I'm not saying I never liked zones. I've liked Dead Man's Wharf. I have liked Invasion. I have liked Zombie Graw. I have liked multiple zones here.
Yeah.
That's not the point. I'm not saying it's impossible. But I'm saying the percentages lean against it because, and in a lot of situations, literally because I can't enjoy it because it's miserable to try to walk through and enjoy.
All right, let's get to it.
Wait, I still have my number 2.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, I was letting the fight finish. So my number 2 is Sweet's Revenge. Sweet Revenge. I keep calling it Sweet's Revenge. I almost put this as my number 1 because of that podcast, the Discover Universal podcast episode that came out last week. If you have not listened to that backstory for this Scarezone, what are you doing with your life? I think it's 15 minutes long. Go listen to it. It's amazing. And I don't think it's spoilery at all, but the way that
It
they,
literally leaves you where you were going to step in.
yeah, it is. I have a feeling you guys are going to talk about it for your number one. I haven't heard it yet, so I won't get too far into it, but it's my number two just because my number one is very me, but I have a feeling this will be my number one by the end of the run.
I mean, Jess, yes, of course it's my number one. That story is fucking insane.
It's so good.
I mean,
Oh
one before you even heard the actual podcast story, the just the blurbs and what we see itself, incredible. You had me at this candy has turned children into psycho murderers. Done. I'm sold. Mixed with the
Literally.
props, I'm sold. The props are so vintage Halloween, it's painful in the best way possible, but
Mhm.
physically pains me when I look at them. I want to have a heart attack and drop to the ground out of pure enjoyment.
Wow.
It could not be more up my alley than this is.
Yeah.
Story and what I'm physically seeing.
Yeah. Obviously, my number one is also Sweet's Revenge. I am super stoked. I, full disclosure, have not listened to that podcast yet. I am actually
Me too.
probably am gonna go pop it on as soon as we're done here while I fall asleep. But I, not knowing any of that, just knowing the aesthetic that we're getting in here, we're getting kind of like a Halloween festival that's gone awry with giant parade floats and candy monster children, and it's going to be insane. And the fact that the tribute store feeds into this just comes together, that this is has the potential to of not only am I the most excited about it, I'm pretty sure that this will probably end up as my favorite.
Yeah, so I'm someone who led off the last Catacombs episode and basically every hype list episode we do saying a hype list for me is not my prediction for my final rankings whatsoever.
No.
But if I'm confident on anything to land where I have it on my hype list on my final rankings, it's the Scarezone.
Yeah.
And that's saying a lot considering I'm excited for at least two other Scarezones on a pretty close level.
Yeah, that's kind of where I was at, is like, I know that I just have a feeling that the actors are going to like vamp 55 this on top of it already looking amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And we're just going to get stories and, performances. And I haven't really had that in a Scare Zone since I've been going. So I'm really excited for that. But like my number one, I'll just say it. It's obviously it's Graveyard Deadly Unrest. But I said it on Catacombs. I have been obsessed with Graveyard since I was too little to know what a graveyard was. So the fact that I'm fully getting, and Lauren said it on that Catacombs episode, it reminds her of Gothic, and that is like my number one wish. I would have been able to go through that house because it's an
It was
old
a great
Gothic,
house. Yeah,
an old Gothic cemetery. So like my shit. So the fact that I'm getting a Scare Zone and Hollywood has had my favorite Scare Zone, Vanity Ball, and I'm excited to see the creature design. If it's just kind of zombies, this will fall during the event for me, but I have a feeling they've given us something more than that, just based on the sets already.
Yeah, from the visuals of what we've seen on shirts and merch in general, it does not seem zombies. It seems skeletal, I guess is a way to put it, which I am much more intrigued in.
And skeletons are a traditional Halloween trope. We need them at the event, so.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong, it's going to be cool. I am really excited, and I love graveyards too. Graveyard games, I think, is my solidly second favorite house of all time. And Gothic is up there too for me. I loved Gothic. It's just when I close my eyes, I kind of know what to expect, and I'm excited for it. I solidly think this will probably be high up there, but for my hype list, I'm more intrigued of what some of these others are going to bring, because I kind of already know what this is going to bring, and it's going to be badass.
So, curious question before we move on to the houses is, do you think it has anything to do with that you feel that the level of immersiveness that a house can provide for like a graveyard setting is very important compared to what it can be in a scare zone.
Yeah, kind of.
Mm.
Is this a question for me?
That's for you specifically, yeah.
Yeah, I do. I think that also, I think a little bit. I'm a little worried about Hollywood clashing the Hollywood area clashing with this graveyard vibe. Now, if
Mm.
this was set in Central Park, I think it might work not a little bit better. Now, I just think it might clash a little bit. I think Vanity Ball was perfect in there. I think because it fit exactly kind of the vibe. I really like scare zones that fit the feel of the space that they're in.
Mm.
Those are my favorite ones that really work with the space. Like, Dead Man's Wharf works perfectly in
Mhm.
San Fran. I remember there was the Acid Rain one from 2011 that literally had spectral mapping of crumbling New York in New York. Like I really love the zones that are meshed into the space that they're in. This graveyard, New Orleans graveyard, I think might clash a little bit with the Hollywood, but that's just these little things are kind of holding me back from being super excited compared to some of these others.
So I'll tack on one more small thing then. Do you not have that similar concern at all for this small town Halloween festival being in New York? It's supposed to be the
Mm.
city with skyscrapers and large buildings.
Yeah, I mean, I am concerned a little bit. I am just slightly, but I do think the immersiveness of that story is and how the giant sets and the parade floats, I think it's probably going to be probably just enough to pull us out. The New York is not going to be pull us out of it. Whereas from what I've seen so far, the graveyards one is it's not going to have that same immersiveness. But I might be totally wrong.
Mhm.
There might be some really immersive stuff in there.
All right. Well, I guess that's it for scare zones. We've spoken our piece. We've yelled at each other. I'm sure there is more yelling coming because houses. We're starting with number 10. We got 10 to go through. Um, Mike, do you want to kick us off?
Yeah. I don't know if this is going to surprise anyone. And I want to preface by I think this is my first year in a long time where I am excited. I can definitively say I'm excited to see my number 10. I'm really excited to see my number 10. I'm excited to see all of these. It's just such a stacked year that my number 10 has to be Horrors of Blumhouse. But I'm excited to see it. I am excited to see how they pull off the black phone. I'm worried. I'm worried on how they pull off the black phone, but I'm excited to see how they do it. Freaky, not as much. I have to admit, I'm still excited. I think we're gonna have some really cool scenes. I'm not gonna say any of them because this is a new enough movie that not everyone's probably caught up yet, so I don't want to go in spoilers. But I do see how this movie lends itself to a maze, but it just wasn't my thing necessarily when I watched this movie. The Black Phone was definitely much more, but I'm concerned of how that's going to translate into a Halloween Horror Nights house. We will find out very soon, but but because of all of that, it has me has it. I have it listed at number 10.
I mean, that's definitely fair. And I basically share the same opinions as you, but it's not my number 10 because Halloween is. And
Oh, ooh,
this is the part where I harp on the fact that my hype list is not a prediction of where I think this will finish. I think Halloween will probably be a safe middle of the pack house for me. Maybe even push up to higher mid. Maybe. We'll see. But hype level, compared to everything else, it's down. I've seen the exact property done. I've seen the slasher himself. I mean, going to Hollywood as well, a lot, a lot. So the actual hype not fully there. I just don't know how different you can do the 78 classic film itself, you know? And I think the thing is they did it almost perfect, or in some people's opinion perfect, the perfect IP house. And I just can't expect it to be better, so I can't be super hyped about it. Is basically where I'm at.
Well, it's funny you say that. My number 10 is also Halloween. And that has not changed. I considered it for a moment, but I still haven't watched The Black Phone, but I will before Friday. But I couldn't put Blumhouse at 10. I'm more excited for that than Halloween. And that's not to say that I'm not excited for Halloween. This year is stacked. And I feel like we say that every year going into hype, but this year really feels like it. And I haven't seen all the Halloween houses. I've only seen Halloween 4, which I've been told is the worst. Uh, I didn't hate it for it being Halloween 4, so I'm excited, but Michael's not my guy. I say it all the time. So there's no hype in having Michael Myers at the event for me. But if any slasher is going to be at HHN 31, it should be Michael Myers. I will say that.
Yeah, I do agree with you there. I will not argue that point. So I guess I'm going to get into my 9 because Mike already discussed it. It's the horrors of Blumhouse. I have reasons to be excited. I think Freaky has great kills. I think The Black Phone is a phenomenal film. And again, like Mike, I'm concerned about how they pull it off, but I'm also very curious. And that leads to a little bit of hype, of course, naturally. So it's not something that's going to be high up my list because of my concerns. And because I've said before, and I might be wrong, that I'm not tying in the past houses because the subject matter was so different.
Oh, yeah.
But the way they execute IPs that are mashups in general isn't my favorite. So there are concerns. I enjoy both properties to an extent. I think Black Phone's a great film. I think Freaky's fun and has fun kills. But the concerns just weigh it down to 9 for me.
That's exactly why it's also my number 9.
Yeah, not surprised.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I'll just hop right into my number 9 because you guys have already talked about, and that is Halloween. Now, I will say, preface that going into last year, I was really concerned about Texas, and I was blown away with what they did there. So I have kind of realized that even if it's not my property, even if it's not my cup of tea, we I can still get excited, and I am really excited for this. 2014's Halloween is my jam. I have memories of that house. I have memory that was the year I worked there. I remember it's just kind of taking breaks on the stoop of the old Myers house. Probably couldn't keep telling the story because we probably weren't supposed to be just chilling out there. But I have some amazing memories. I just there's just so much others. Again, it's one of those things where I close my eyes, I can kind of already picture the house. That being said, they are moving this into a soundstage, and so that just means the sets can be bigger, the things can be better. They can play with some cool some effects better, the lighting, stuff like that in a soundstage, obviously. So I am really excited with how they one up what like what Duff had said. It kind of is already when I think about IPs that they've IP houses they've just nailed out of the park. I think of 2014's Halloween. How are they going to just one up this? And so I am excited, but I'm also concerned that it's not going to live up to 2014's. I'm just a little concerned, and that's why it's number 9.
It sounds like our 9 and 10 are basically the same reason.
Pretty
just
much.
A little
It could be flip flopped, and honestly, if I had, consulted with you guys, I could have had Halloween 10, and they're basically kind of neck and neck for me.
Fair. Jess, do you want to give us your 8?
Oh, you want me to make people mad?
Oh God, how?
Oh no!
Oh, I made some people real mad.
I don't remember. Am I gonna get mad again, Jess?
Probably.
Oh God.
So my number 8, and remember, this is a hype list. This is not what I think is going to be the best. We're going to keep repeating that, so don't come for me. My number 8 is Dead Man's Pier.
I'm
What
muting
is it?
myself.
Ooh.
I'm muting.
No, that was probably an overreaction.
No,
But
it's fair.
no.
Mine's
Woo!
not. What? Are you kidding me? Oh my. No. After everything we've talked, mute.
Now Duff's gonna yell at me. All right,
Oh,
hear me out.
man.
I've muted myself, so I can't. I'm gonna mute myself so you can talk, and I can't.
Give
I
her
will
the
yell
floor.
at nothing.
She has to justify this. Give her
It's
the
a
floor.
hype list. Hear me out. I think that set wise, this is going to be one of my favorites. My fear is that I was very excited for Yeti in 29, and it did not live up to some of my expectations. So my fear is that this might get a similar treatment because I don't know why in my head I'm comparing them and I can't not and I can't explain it. Maybe it's because it's another weather house.
Yeah, they're both going to be cold, I guess.
Yeah, something like that, but I fear for it. Not to say Yeti sets weren't amazing. I just didn't love all my runs through the house. So that's my fear for this, which is why it is so low. I also don't have that like New England, attachment to anything like that. I grew up in South Florida. I'm sorry. So I'll use that as an excuse. I know Duff's going to yell at me for that in a second because he did too. But this is why. It's just there are, 7 other houses that I'm more excited for. And I don't have to give another reason besides that because it's my hype list and not yours.
Duff, didn't you split time with Boston and South Florida?
It was only 3 years, but yeah,
Okay.
the vast majority was South Florida. I was born, and I say born and raised in South Florida, but I spent 3 years up in New England. Yes.
I mean, I grew up in Salt Lake, and I'm still fucking excited. So
I know, but other people were saying like, "Oh, the fondness of the Northeast," and I was like, "Okay."
I mean, I'm gonna be honest. That part does nothing for me.
Okay.
Nothing. If you talk to my mom, who was born and mostly raised in New England, big factor. She's hype, very hype for that specific reason. I am hype for many other reasons, but I don't even respect your opinions. But I will not say anything because I don't want to abuse a co-host on this episode.
That's what I mean.
You already did over Conjure the Dark, by the way.
Yes, I did. I've already gone there. I'm kidding. I respect Jess's opinion.
You also have to spend.
I just don't like it. That's all.
You have to spend a week in California with me, not to mention the entire haunt season.
Well, but by then you'll love the house, so it's okay.
Be nice to me.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be wrong. I already said it. This is where it falls. I'm sorry.
She needs a hot take, and
there's my hot take.
You're fishing for a hot take. Get it? Fishing.
Oh,
that's water. All right, Mike, get us out of here.
All right. So my number 8, and again, the more I hear about this, and I kind of came in with the argument that I kind of already fleshed out and was like, maybe I was wrong, is that Hellblock Horror is my number 8. And I was coming in with, I had it all written down. I had my essay about how we are all wrong and that we're all going by one guy's spoiler that has not been confirmed. But then we kind of apparently got confirmation that this might actually be a bit more than just Easter eggs here or there. That being said, it just that was late information. So it hasn't quite moved up on my list yet. If that is what we get, I think this could, end up in my top 4, top 3 even. I have to admit, I believe I had Puppet Theater kind of pretty low just because I was concerned about that, and it ended up being one of my favorite houses ever. So something that's at 8 could end up being my number 1. It just means I have a little bit of concerns for it, and it's mostly this is a late add-on. I don't know how fleshed out the sets are going to be. I don't know how fleshed the story is going to be. I really don't want this just to be a prison house with some Easter eggs. I just have a little bit of concerns. Who knows? I might be totally wrong, but because of that, it's at number 8 for me.
Mike, on the Catacombs episode, I had it at 8. I had Hellblock Horror at 8 until that USA Today article came out. I had it at 8. But after I read it, I felt a little more easy, a little more calm, excited. So my new number 8. Unfortunately, I didn't want to do this. I kind of feel bad because I was hyped for it early on. Descendants of Destruction.
What?
Wow. What?
What?
But
Whoa!
okay, now I
Yeah.
gotta mute
Whoa!
myself. I'll be back in a fucking minute.
Whoa!
Yeah. This
How
pains me.
dare you?
It really does. So here's the thing. So we all kind of know it to be, whether it's a sequel, a spiritual successor, whatever it may be, to Seeds of Extinction. That's exciting. That's exciting. What we know about this house is overgrown Subway. And you know what? To be honest, you've basically said it for me when you talk about Graveyard Deadly Unrest. I know what I'm getting in my head. I could be very wrong. It could be nothing like I expect. But for my hype levels, I can picture it in my head, and that's an issue. And it's not a bad house by any means, but that drops the hype down, and I don't know I have much more to say. And it's unfortunate because I was very excited, and I hope it leans heavy into, like, I'm a Seeds of Extinction sequel, and gives us that. But I don't think it's going to, and that's to be honest, upsetting in a biased way. So there it is.
It's okay to be wrong.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Someone speak. This is awkward.
All right, who gets to go next?
What number are we on?
Did everyone do their 8?
Yes.
Okay, so then we are on to 7. I can go next. My number 7. Now, I don't even know what to fucking think about this house. I am scared of it. I have to admit, this is probably the house that I'm the most scared of going into a Halloween Horror Nights ever. I'm also really excited for it. It could be so funny, but it also could be just completely gross, and that is Bugs Eaten Alive. Um, I am so intrigued what we're getting here. Like, I just kind of envision kind of like a parody of like Tomorrowland a little bit, or like Carousel of Progress, and kind of that 1950s like World's Fair House of the Future type of vibe. And then for like the first couple of scenes, and then just shit hitting the fan and just bugs all over. I think that's going to be fun for about 5 seconds. And then it's going to get real. And then it's going to get gross. And this is going to get pretty gnarly. I think it's going to be fun, but I don't know how many times I'm going to be able to make it through this house. I have to admit. I'm not a really against bug guy, but I am a sensory, like have some sensory stuff. And I think the more they talk about this, they're really going at the senses here. And if there's a lot of sif, and there's a lot of, the trypophobia stuff. I don't know. This is going to be weird. This is going to be a weird house. I like it. I like being, this is why we go to the event, but I'm scared of this one.
So here's the thing. This is actually one of my biggest risers. So we're going to talk about this in a bit for me. Kind of because of what you said. I feel like it's almost I'm worried the like goofiness of what they're going to go for is going to fall flat. Whatever, we'll get to that. So my number 7, you talked about before, Hellblock Horror. It basically jumped Descendants of Destruction for me because of the USA Today article, and kind of confirming that I think it sounds like there's going to be quite a bit of HHN lore involved, and I'm a sucker for like killing that off and kind of putting an end to stuff and being willing to do that. Whether that's permanent or not, in the moment it feels cool. Like Gorwood Forest was kind of a letdown for me last year, but watching Eelmouth get sacrificed was wild, like absolutely wild, and I enjoyed that so much that they were willing to do that. So seeing them, maybe, who knows? It could be Nightingales, it could be HR Blood and Guts. Who knows? It could be smaller, much smaller characters. But I'm excited for the potential. But because of the whole concept of the prison, it stays a bit lower for me because that just doesn't excite me as much.
So that's also my number 7. I don't know if I mentioned it. My list has not changed from last week when we did.
Not at all.
I thought it was going to. I looked at it today and I reflected, and now I'm really confident in what I had. So it has not changed. But Hellblock Horror, I was excited because Laura in the podcast when they initially announced it was saying that you know, monsters that they're being punished for their crime that they did at HHN, you know, whatever that may be. So I'm kind of interested to see that. I love an Easter egg. I loved Carnival Graveyard because of the Easter eggs, honestly, and taking the unmasking tour. So I'm excited. This is on the Sixth House, right?
Yes, correct.
Ooh, okay. So Saturday's gonna be fun. But I'm just excited to kind of also hear more of the backstory with the guide and be able to kind of pick their brain on it because I feel like this is gonna be a house where like maybe the first time through you're not gonna catch everything, kind of like Seeds because Seeds was so covered. I don't think it's gonna be like that, but I think that they're gonna have hidden things. I don't think we're gonna see the icons, but I could see Easter eggs to represent each icon kind of like how we had the different totems in case files, the different legions, sorry, like they were represented in one way or another. So this one could rise, it could fall because it's also a last minute house. And I haven't had good luck with those in the past. So we'll see.
Wait, what? Last year even?
Yeah. Wait, what? Last year was good. I'm sorry. So I was thinking more Hive.
Okay,
I forgot about. In my head, Case Files was not a last minute.
Yeah, that's fair. It did have a whole. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
They had a whole last year.
Okay.
But Hive was like what, a month or so, or something like that.
Yeah. I see what you mean. Go.
Yeah.
Fair. I allow it.
Thank you.
All right, did everyone do their 7?
Sure did.
All right, so I guess I'll go next. My number 6 is Universal Monsters Legend Collide. And honestly, at this point, for the last like 9 of them, or the last couple, we're in the, I'm excited for this house. Don't get me wrong. It's just, there's just so many above it. I can't really say anything negative, honestly, at this point. I'm excited for this. I mean, I guess I kind of, when I close my eyes, I kind of know what to expect, but that's not a negative thing, really. It's just, I don't know. I think this is going to be amazing. The fact that you just told me that there's going to be a different ending every night, or that you don't know exactly how it's going to end. There's going to be a different winner, or different on the throne, so to speak, as we got from icons. That's really exciting. It's just we know these characters so deeply that I kind of get a little bit more excited for things that are brand new. I'm a bit of a fan of the new. I like to go towards the new. But that's not to be to say that Universal Monsters Legend Collide, it's gonna be so awesome.
Mike, I don't know I can add anything to what you said. It's also my number 6, and the only thing I will say, there's a huge gap between 6 and 7, and everything 6 and up I am absolutely stoked for. Like, so hype. And I think this is a great story for Universal Monsters, and I'm excited, but there's just more I'm excited for this time around. That's all.
Yeah. It's gonna be great. It might end up as my top 3. I don't think it'll be my favorite, but it's gonna be great.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, I'm kind of shocked of it's lower for you.
Yeah, I know, crazy, right?
Yeah, wow. So my number 6, and this is the one that I went back and forth all day on changing. If I was going to change anyone on my list, it was going to be this one. And I would kind of agree that between my 6 and 7, there's a huge gap. Like 1 through 6, they're gonna move around. I have a feeling, but the bottom ones are there. My number 6 is Fiesta de Chupacabras. And the thing that was going to change my mind was that article that came out where they were talking about how the cast is bilingual and a lot of the triggers are in Spanish. And that I think is amazing. We're keeping this really authentic to the story. I was so solid in my list that I couldn't move it. But I'm expecting this to move up. Like, just everything about it seems amazing. It's a soundstage house, so big scale. I'm expecting puppets, and I love puppets. We all do, but I don't know. I couldn't move it around, so I'm sorry. It's number 6.
Okay. Sorry. I mean, it's fine.
We're at this point where it's like 6 is not bad.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
I guess I'll go next. Whatever, because I think I'm gonna upset you guys a bit. And I don't hate witches. I
Get out of
promise.
here.
Oh
Get the
no!
out of here.
If you say fucking spirits of the coven, I'm gonna turn off my mic and go to bed.
Stuff?
I'm kidding. It's Bugs Eaten Alive.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh my
Yeah,
god.
Bugs Eaten Alive is my number 5. It moved up a tad bit from last week because to be honest, other stuff kind of just dropped a bit, and that's it. I think there's a lot of reasons to be hyped, and there's a lot of reasons to be concerned that it just might be almost too purposely goofy at first, and then I don't trust that kind of transition necessarily always, but there's always the chance it hits it perfectly. So it's very middle of the pack for that reason. I don't have much more to add than that.
Yeah. I'm excited for sure. It's just I am scared. I'm literally scared of this one. I don't think I've been that way before with any of these houses. I'm nervous of this one, but I'm excited.
It is also my number 5. For the same reasons. I mean, it's middle of the road. Aaron, getting to see Aaron go through it is going to probably make this house very, very special for me. This is her house, and I love to see people experience things they love, and that can make my experience even better. So,
Fair.
Bugs, and I'm terrified. So let's go.
Wait, Mike, did you have it at 5? You didn't. No, you had it.
No,
At
I had
5.
it
That's
like
right, that's
7.
Right. Yeah, that's right. That's right. So, what is your number 5?
My number 5 is Chupacabras.
Okay.
The more I hear about this, I am super fucking stoked. What was his name? The mask maker.
The Mask Maker. Yeah.
And at Dine with this character is he's going to be like a storyteller that goes around and fleshes out the lore. This is going to be so awesome. I have to admit, I don't have a lot of Chupacabra. Like the urban legend of Chupacabra is not close to my heart. When I think of urban legends, I think of like Pop Rocks and Coke, not necessarily Chupacabras. Or I think of that terrible movie that my parents wouldn't let me watch when I was a kid, and I really always wanted to watch it. And then when I watched it, I was really disappointed. My parents like would pick and choose. Like my mom would pick and choose like the weird R-rated movies she wouldn't let me watch, and she would let me watch mostly whatever I wanted. But for some reason, Urban Legend she wouldn't let me watch, and I really wanted to watch it. And then when I finally got to watch it as an adult, it was a letdown. But so when I think of urban legends, I kind of think of more that the hitchhiker and the hook on the door, those types of things. I don't necessarily think of Chupacabras, but I am super stoked. The more I learn about this urban legend in this the Latin America and kind of Southwest United States. I'm getting much more excited. I think the sets and the decor of this is just going to blow our fucking mind. I think this is going to be so cool. I can't wait. There's a very good chance that this one might slide up to my number 1 if they do it right. It's going to be awesome.
Yes, correct. Okay, I'll do my number 4, and I'm serious this time, guys. I'm sorry, it's Spirits of the Coven.
I'll take it. It's fine.
4 is a fine, but
Okay.
5 was
All
just too.
All right,
It was too low.
Too low.
I mean,
too
I think
low.
it dropped down 1 because something else jumped pretty high. That's
wow.
the only reason. It was number 3 last week when I made.
Yeah, I was going to say you had a pretty high.
Yeah. I mean, I'm very excited about it. I think the era, the aesthetic, everything they're going for, the punniness of spirits and everything. It's very up my alley. I'm very excited. I don't have concerns necessarily, but compared to the other ones, how do they pull it off right is kind of where I'm at. Again, it's 4 in a very strong year, so it's not a bad thing at all.
All right.
Yeah, I'll save my thoughts for this one.
Same. So my number 4 is Legends Collide.
Okay.
Wow, look at you.
I know, Duff. I don't know what's going on, but we were pretty much aligned for a while there, and
we're not far off. To be
no,
fair.
but I feel like this is your year. You got the Mummy.
I love the Mummy, but
I
it's
know.
not just the Mummy. They kind of did a lot with it.
I was not very excited for this when it was announced. I had my girl last year. I had Bride for 2 years. It's time for her to rest. She's tired. But the panel at Spooky really got me excited for this. Kind of the behind the scenes that we've been hearing, you know, all the podcast details. This has just kind of risen. And also, like, I feel like every kid who grew up in the 2000s, the early 2000s, was obsessed with like Egyptology at one point or another.
Hey, it's me.
Yeah,
a little bit.
even
yeah.
I had an era. I had that King Tut book, the big, that big one.
Of
with
course
the-
he did. Who didn't?
Yeah. I remember the exhibit came through like Miami or something, and there was a field trip.
Did we go to the same one?
Probably the same day
probably,
too.
Probably.
No, so I'm really excited for this, and the different, you know, winner every night or every cast excites me. So I'm really excited, and you know, I've heard that there's gonna be some pyramids and big ass sets, and I love big ass sets.
It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
Mike, where are you at? Number 4.
My number 4 is Descendants of Destruction. We're in the nitty gritty here, where you know this could easily, if my mood changed or if on a different year, this could be number 1. This is gonna be, in my opinion, so fun. Duff, you were right that if you, I agree to think there were. I can kind of picture it of what this is going to be like, but what I cannot picture is I can't picture the characters. That I can depict their sets, I can depict the feeling, but what is missing here, and I am not getting my hopes up that it's Seeds, because that could have been confirmed so many times and has not. So I'm a little worried that that it's not, and that this is just kind of overblown. I don't see why they wouldn't at this point. If it is a Seeds, a prequel, a spiritual prequel, they've had so many chances to confirm that. So I'm going to just kind of chalk that up as a rumor that is not true. That being said, this is still going to be a badass house. I love the, you know, kind of urban exploring and, abandoned subway tunnels. This is going to be so cool. It's going to be terrifying, in the fun way, not the bugs way. But I'm excited.
I feel like we don't feel too different about it at the end of the day.
We don't.
It's a different hype level for it. Really.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, just wait.
Oh boy. So I guess I'll take my number 3 then. And no one will be shocked it's this high. It's The Weekend After Hours Nightmare.
We have the same list stuff.
Number
Just
3.
told me last pick we didn't.
Hey, this is my number 3.
So
number 3? Really?
Yeah, here's the reason it's number 3 and not even higher for someone like me, is because this is gonna sound super dorky, and people even see it as gatekeepery. Originals IPs, they're different levels, and I am more hype for the original concepts that I'm excited for than the IP concepts I am excited for. And I'm also very aware that there is the chance this is not very good.
Okay, so I'll hold off my thoughts.
Okay,
I have a direct rebuttal with what you said, but I'll hold off on it.
We'll wait for it. But that's really all I have to say. So if someone else wants to go for the number 3,
I'll be
all
quick.
yours.
The Weekend, and it's because I watched the videos finally. They're really good. They're really horror. I am kind of afraid that the lighting package is going to be the whole house, but that doesn't kind of eliminate my hype. I do think Hollywood's is going to be better, which is why it is my number 1 in Hollywood. Just because I think that he worked more closely with Murdy. Probably, because that's how Murdy is.
Fair.
But other than that, I'm very excited. I don't know. I can't see them not, succeeding. I don't know if it'll be like blow your socks off, but I don't think you're gonna have a Beetlejuice moment as we compared it to.
Really hope not. I really hope not.
I don't know. Go in positive.
Oh, I will. Oh,
I know. Obviously, it's your 3rd. Yeah, obviously, I'm saying. I'm just trying to give you a pep talk as someone who had a Beetlejuice.
I appreciate it. If I need it from anyone, it's you.
It's me. If anyone understands, it's me and Aaron.
Jess, if Beetlejuice came in 2019, that would have been a badass house, and you would have loved it. It
I
just
know.
got the death of
What?
the COVID. Yeah, if
Yeah.
absolutely,
We don't need,
Stuff.
we don't need to get into that now.
Stuff. There was
Beetlejuice
a
would have been
significant change because of
100%,
I didn't say.
100%.
Anyways,
It was just a
Mike,
completely different house than
All right.
what they envisioned.
we've talked about this so many times.
All right, Mike, what's your number?
All right. My number 3 is Dead Man's Pier, A Winter's Wake. Again, we're at the place here where number 3 is pretty excited. We can't say anything negative. This is going to be so cool. The sets are going to be, I hope, and Laura Saul's kind of alluded to it. These sets are going to be so beautiful. The cold houses have always been my jam. And not only cold, this is going to be kind of like a watery house as well. We're going to get the smells. I have no, tie to the ocean necessarily, but I did, everyone says, oh, they're New England. I worked this 1 year at a summer camp in Maine. That's about the closest I get to a tie to New England, is that, I worked in the middle of buttfuck Maine, and I sometimes drove down to Portland, Maine, every other weekend to hang out. That being said, I'm still really excited for this. I think it's going to be amazing. I think the sets are going to be amazing. The storytelling is going to be amazing. They've alluded that it's going to be a sad house. I think that's probably more moody than sad. I'm going to just say that it's just going to be dreary and cold, and like that's how when they say sad, I'm thinking moody, atmospheric. That's how it should be. So I'm really excited.
Attaboy. There you go. Oh, we've all said our number 3s, haven't we?
We were on
Yeah.
number 2.
Hey, look
Number
at that.
two.
All right, number
Top
2.
two.
I'll take it. Quite, I guess, a bit higher than both of you. Fiesta de Chupacabras.
Oh, wow.
It has jumped quite a bit because of the article we saw, and I think there were concerns about how they handle the sensitivity they need to take, and will it just be some mashup of what the stereotypical culture is, or is it going to actually be the lore of Chupacabra, whatever culture they do pull from, and maybe multiple, we'll see. I just feel better about it, and then we've heard a lot about it's going to be gory. The sets are going to be impressive, and I mean, I don't know if you had it all, Jess. Obviously not the same as other cultures had it, but in South Florida, like it's a thing that exists, and you hear about it. So it's something I had not personally experienced in any way, shape, or form, but knew about and was discussed and was passed around a bit. So
No, to confirm, Chupacabras is like a modern urban legend. Like the first sighting of this, and this has grown, was like the mid 90s, correct? Like this is not historic necessarily.
Right.
This is by the definition of urban legend. This is a modern lore, modern legend. This is developed over the last 20 years. Correct.
Chupacabra itself, but if you want to even go deeper, there are more ancient cultures where stuff exactly like this has existed, and some people do believe this is where this originated from. So, I mean, it's something no one knows for sure where this came from originally. There was just a sighting in Puerto Rico, and we go from there. But Chupacabra itself, yes, it's a much newer kind of urban legend than many others. But
gotcha.
I'm very excited. I've heard gore. I've heard amazing sets. I love the story. I love the additional lore can be picked up potentially at Character Dining. There's just a lot of ways to access this house and this story, and that really, really, really excites me.
Yeah, no, I'm excited what this turns into. I can't say anything that I didn't already say.
I got nothing else.
All right, Jess, do you want to do your number 2?
Oh boy, do I! Since it was disrespected earlier, my number 2 is Descendants of Destruction. I, I have been
All right,
very.
relax. I didn't disrespect it.
I mean, you had it at like fucking 8, Duff.
How's that disrespectful?
I mean, that's pretty low.
Okay,
You,
well, to be fair, I had one of, I guess I think his number one at my number 8.
Yeah, exactly.
So I guess I'm worse than Duff. So oops. I have to give you shit. That's what we're here for. No, Descendants of Destruction. And Mike, I know that you said that they haven't confirmed that it's a Seed sequel, prequel, whatever. But in the podcast, they described it as an extinction sized catastrophic event. And they very specifically said extinction. And for me, that's the only seed I need, pun intended.
Wow.
Why don't they just come out and say it? I don't understand.
Can I point out one thing? Not to quite the same level, but last year was a massive anniversary year. Carrie was heavily involved. They never once mentioned Wicked Growth being involved with Carrie. However, very much was in Carrie.
Oh yeah,
or Carrie adjacent. There's still kind of
they were in the Kane Cemetery.
I think that's an Easter egg. That's not a.
I don't care. That could insinuate that it was the Kane.
There are many other things that showed it was legitimately in or around Carrie.
But again, that's all I needed. I need one little seed. Okay, back to Descendants of Destruction.
One little spark.
Oh God, get out of here. I really loved Seeds. It was like my house that I wasn't expecting to be amazing. So for me, this is giving me the same vibes just based off, the explanation. And I know that, we know what we're getting with a subway. But for me, that is kind of like a scary setting. And that is what makes it rise so high, is that you're underground. You can't get away from these people. And they've also said that the way that it's presented is in thirds. So, the deeper you go in the subway tunnels, the deeper the story gets, the more the lights go out. And they've also said there's going to be bioluminescence in the house. And that is a really cool feature to hopefully see. It might just be, day glow. And then this will be my number 10 by the end of the season. But if they do it right and they just kind of copy what they do over at Pandora in a house, I think that could be really cool. And with that comes some camouflaging and stuff like that we saw in Seeds. I think it's going to hint at it. Worst case, but
I mean, I hope you're right. I definitely hope you're right. I hold that hope. I do hold that hope.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope so. It's just they haven't said anything. Like they haven't. They've just and I don't even think they've just barely alluded to it.
Yeah,
I don't know.
We'll see in 2 days.
Yeah.
Oh my God,
crazy.
Well, not from here, but from when you hear this.
All right. Well, my number 2 is The Weeknd After Hours Nightmare. Now, Duff, you had it high, so I'm not going to totally go crazy, but I believe you said something to the effect of like that it's an IP house and therefore, it's just not quite original. In my opinion,
I see where this is going. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. So, in my opinion, other than, and I may be totally wrong, I believe they are taking imagery from these music videos, but for the most part, Abel and the creative team sat down and created a brand new story, an original concept for this house. Well, yes, they are using music that we have heard before, and you have heard multiple times. They are using imagery taken from his music videos. This is an IP house the same way that Billie Eilish was going to be an IP house. This is a blank slate for me. I have no clue what we're experiencing here. It is essentially original by proxy with some of the music, my favorite music, all it's basically an original concept about some of the most the music I've been most excited about for the last year or so. How can I not get stoked for this? I'm so excited.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you're wrong. I think it's literally, for me, when I say that, it's all historical findings, I guess you could call it, where IPs, whether they are the more original concept version of them or not, tend to not be as high as originals. So the hype for these original stories that I get excited for and have so many questions about are going to naturally be a bit higher. Also, I had it one place lower than you.
Yeah, no, but I think the reason why they tend to be historic is that there is a structure, and there are other kind of cooks in the kitchen here that are kind of limit to what these creators can build, and they have to work within guidelines, right? They have
The
to kind of.
Weeknd was very much in the kitchen.
Well, he was
you
in
were
the
going at.
yeah, no, he was absolutely in the kitchen, but I think he sat down with them, and he was sure in the kitchen, but he's a great cook. Like, this is not like this some executive for the Halloween franchise and said, like, hey, no, you have to kind of stick to the script here. He said, here is all of the elements. No, no, build it. Like, here is what's in my mind. Here is where I was when I wrote this album. Now you make it happen. That is a way different than, okay, here's the story that was already written. Now go ahead and translate it into a house, like we got with The Shining or some of these others, right?
This feels so useless because I don't disagree with you. I really don't disagree at all, but it's not the first example we've had that's like this, where it's an original take on an IP. They've existed before, they will continue to exist, and they'll continue to be my favorite versions of IPs for the most part, I'm sure. So, I mean, again,
I just think the
Type
argument that
is all.
as the history argument of why you think this might be a little bit lower, I think is a little bit of a flawed logic. I don't know. We'll see.
That's
We'll
fair,
find out.
but there are other examples. There are. They definitely exist, and you know they do.
I wish we had saw Billie Eilish. I think that would be the closest thing to an example,
Same.
because I don't think we quite have had an example quite like this before. This is we're charting brand new territory. I think we were about to get it with Billie Eilish, but we haven't seen it actually happen quite like this.
That's fair. That's fair.
All right, so let's go right into our number ones.
All right, now, why kick us off? Why
Yeah,
not?
no, actually, Dove, I think
me?
you should go, because if I'm keeping tally, Jess and I's number one are the same.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fine.
Yeah.
I will go first. Oh yeah, of course it is. Dead Man's Pier, Winter's Wake. You guys know why. The sets are great. The characters I've loved before. It was a great Scarezone, and they've been hyping it up a lot. And the cracking on the fucking shirt. And where do you want me to? I've talked about it multiple times. And
Yeah.
go listen to Cat. I love this concept, and I'm very excited. And I expect the sets to be absolutely immaculate and blow everyone away.
Yeah.
And I expect them to pull out different effects that make you really feel like you are where you are, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Heard. Yeah. All right, Jess, go ahead and kick us off. What is your number one?
Flapper Witches.
So fucking Flapper Witches, absolutely.
Spirits of the motherfucking coven. Spirits of the motherfucking coven, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my God. This is, again, one of those perfect houses for me. It just makes sense. If you put it on paper, it's a speakeasy, which is 1920s. It's in a soundstage, Jess. I would just look at you and go, okay, what's the problem? Yeah. Where's the issue? Is there vinyl? Is there plexiglass this year still? Like, I start rocking back and forth. Exactly. It's too good to be true. But like, I am so excited. The way that they describe that we're going to see different versions of the witches. They're going to be beautiful and then take their disguises off. Oh, I'm just mad I have to take the 3-house tour to see this now with the lights on.
Yeah, no, my number one is also Spirits of the Coven. Jess, I agree with everything you said. I think if I had to, close my eyes and say, what we're getting here is we're getting that scene, that Kit Kat Club scene, that one little scene from Legendary Truth. And we're getting that, and then we're getting that fleshed out and then put in a new location with a totally different story with the witches. This is going to be so fucking great. this is my jam. Now, I agree with you. I love gangsters. I love Prohibition. Flappers. Gary Gatsby. Give me all that shit. This is going to be amazing. This is going to be so cool. Yeah, I can't wait.
Oh, it's gonna be so good. We're gonna get a shot out with like Tommy guns.
It's gonna be so good.
I can't wait to go through this on Friday.
Yeah. I hope I'm not overhyping this in my head. But I think it's gonna definitely stay in my top 3. I don't know if it'll stay my number 1, but it will definitely stay in my top 3. I hope. Unless something really falls flat here. But I can't imagine.
I have nothing to add. I mean, I don't disagree again, just like last time. But it's just lower for me. Sorry.
Yeah. It's just not your jam. It's not. Yeah.
I mean, it's not even not my jam. I just have more concerns of how it's executed, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is going to be a knockout apart. We've already seen that they can execute this well with the Legendary Truth. We've already kind of got something a similar vibe, at least a scene or two, right? Mm. So I think they can do this. They can do this well, and it's going to be badass.
Oh, I was expecting you guys to go off on more.
I don't know. Okay. I think that's it. I think it's time. It's
one of those things. That's what I did on Dead Man's Pier too. I was like, I don't know. It's great. Whatever.
We've been recording for like the 3 hours at this point. Close.
I scream about this stuff on Twitter every day, so people know.
Well, I guess
I'm just ready to see these houses.
Oh my god!
Yeah, 72 hours, right? Like basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, in 72 hours from when we're recording, we will be in some house. Most likely.
Oh, shit. 3 fucking days.
Or in a scare zone or something. We'll be at the event.
The scarier thing is there's still an hour and a half left in the event.
Yeah.
And I'm already exhausted.
I'm exhausted just recording.
Yeah. We have to like walk around and walk all the way through that bug house fucking line, apparently.
Oh, I need to get my insoles. Like I need to get on Amazon.
I just got mine today.
Get my
or orthotics.
Yeah, get my Epsom salts ready.
Hey,
my foot bath when I get home.
Seriously.
Oh man, but my dogs are already barking.
I'm just so excited for everything, the food, the drinks, the scare zones, the shows, the houses, of course. Come everything. On. We are so close. And again, if you're a team member, you're there either today or you've been probably at this point. So congratulations. How was it? Right before we get to the outro, Mike will handle all that stuff. Trivia today. Wednesday, August 31st, live trivia, Half Barrel Beer Project. Starts at 8 p.m. Try to get there by at least 7:30 to get a spot. It's going to be a great time, we hope. We're going to do our best. First live event, but we're very excited and nervous.
Yeah. And as always, we have a Twitter, we have an Instagram, and we have a YouTube. You can find those if you put an @ symbol and then follow it with HHN 365. We also have a TikTok with the @ symbol HHN 365 pod. We have so many things to list now. We also have a merch shop. Well, if you type in HHN 365.bitcartel.com, and you can leave us a voicemail if you type into your phone 407-906-4134. Guys, next week we're going to be talking about this fucking event.
Ooh.
Wow.
If you want to join us, please leave us that voicemail.
Yeah.
Tell us whether it's your hype list now, post event has to get in by Monday. So you know.
Instant reaction.
Yes. I am calling out right now. Leave your voicemail when you leave your favorite house. When you're like, yes. Get out the phone, type in the little number, and say, I just did it. I just did my favorite house. And then maybe if you call back like 3 or 4 times, that's okay. Because your favorite house kept changing throughout the night. But when you feel like you've experienced your favorite house, even if that's the 3rd house you've gone through, go ahead and give us a call. I want to see how many times people call like 3 or 4 times.
It's just me calling every time I leave Spirits of the Coven this weekend.
I just finished the Tuk Talk, but I went through Spirits again.
Nothing changed, but it's still my favorite.
Yeah. No, that first day when you feel like you've done it, when you've hit your favorite house, give us a call. I want to see how many times
Immediate
you have to
reaction.
be like, yeah, we get someone call me back. Okay, so it's me again. I thought it was Ed Van Pier, but I just went through Descendants of Destruction. I want to hear that. I want to see if that happens. So give us a call. Immediate reaction when you feel like you just did your favorite.
All of them.
Alrighty.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, let's do it. Well, yeah, we'll see you in the streets.